Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Immersion is often hailed as the most efficient and effective way to learn a foreign language. In many ways, it's true. With all the language learning methods out there, nothing else comes close to having to think and interact with your environment in the language you're learning. Unfortunately, though, most language learners wrongly assume that the only way to experience language immersion is to pack up and move to a foreign country. But not everyone can afford to spend a summer abroad just to learn a foreign language. Luckily, there are other ways to immerse yourself. These methods are less obvious, but they are effective. In this video, we'll take a look at 5 steps you can take for the ultimate language immersion experience at home. Number 1. Transform your digital world into your target language. Technology is an indispensable part of modern life. We interact with phones, computers, tablets, and other electronic devices throughout the day. Why not take these interactions and use them to practice your target language? Most devices give you the option of switching the language of the operating system. Switching your phone or laptop interface to your target language won't make you fluent, but it will help you engage with the language in a very practical way multiple times every day. Another way to transform your digital life is to check which sites you use on a daily basis and use them in your target language also. A great example of this is switching your version of Google. Using Google in your target language will allow you to search for things in that language, and you're more likely to get results in that language as well. So, if you're looking for a popular band, a show, or food, something that's usually written in your target language, it will actually be easier to find information about it if you switch your version of Google. Of course, you can also change popular social networks like Facebook or Twitter. You can even go to news sites for your fill of global news. Do you like podcasts? Try listening to a couple popular podcasts in your target language. Number 2. Write out a speech or conversation in your target language. A surefire way to increase your ability in a foreign language is to write out a mock conversation or speech in that language. Pretend you have to give a speech on one of your favorite topics. It could be anything from sports, hobbies, or even your favorite movie genre. Now, take some time to write out your fictitious speech. Inevitably, you will hit some roadblocks. But when you get stuck, research the words or grammar points you don't know. This is a highly effective and practical way to increase your vocabulary, and it'll help you practice thinking in a different language. Writing a long, connected train of thoughts exposes the gaps and weaknesses in your language studying. Once you know what these are, you're free to practice them and use them to continue on with your speech. This is also a great way to learn new words in the context of your entire speech. Context is king when you're learning a language. Learning words in the context of other words and sentences helps you surmise what new words mean. It also helps you get comfortable with how these words are practically used. Not to mention, context helps you to remember and recall new information more easily. Number 3. Practice with native speakers. There are a lot of great learning resources out there for anyone learning a new language. However, nothing quite comes close to practicing the language with a real person. If you live in or around a large metropolitan area, there's a chance that there are some native speakers nearby. Check and see if your area has any local language exchanges or language-speaking groups. You're likely to find a native speaker there. If you can't make a connection locally, you can search online. Just as there are language exchanges in the real world, there are also online ones, most of which are free. Number 4. Connect with other language learners. Native speakers aren't the only people who can aid you on your language learning journey. Practicing with other learners is also helpful. Don't worry if you practice with someone who has a higher or lower level in the language than you. If you're the more advanced learner, you can learn a lot by teaching someone else. As you help someone else understand difficult words or grammatical concepts, you'll find that you start to better understand them yourself. If your learning partner has a higher level, they can be the one to help you overcome the hurdles you encounter as a beginner. After all, what better way to learn than from someone who, as a language learner, has been in your shoes? Number 5. Reward yourself in your target language. At the end of a busy day, we all love a little relaxation and me time. One of the most enjoyable and effective ways to develop your language skills is to kick back and enjoy the language while doing leisure activities. Whether it's listening to music, watching a movie or TV show, reading a book, or even enjoying a good online video binge, Even spending just an extra 30 minutes a day doing something you love in your target language can yield some serious long-term results. If you're a beginner, start with more basic content. You might have to start out listening to simple songs or even watching children's shows. After a while, though, you'll be able to dive into the meatier stuff and more engaging stuff as your proficiency increases. Learning a foreign language doesn't mean you have to spend your days straining over grammar rules or textbooks. Any way that you can take your learning off the page and make it more enjoyable will help you learn faster. Immersion is a powerful way to learn a foreign language, and now more than ever, the immersion experience isn't limited to just world travelers. With a little creativity and the right resources, you can experience the language without ever having to leave your hometown. Many of these resources can be found with our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to immerse yourself in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
To cook. To cook. I'm going to cook dinner tonight. To cook is to prepare a meal using heat. Tonight I'm going to cook chicken marsala. I'm going to cook beef stew. To fry. To fry. I don't want to fry the chicken because it's too unhealthy. To fry something is to cook something in hot fat or oil. French fries are fried. And fried things are unhealthy, so when you eat fried foods, you want to eat in moderation. I don't, because fried stuff is delicious, but you should. To add. To add. Before you eat, you should taste the food and add salt if necessary. To add in this context means to add something else onto a dish, to put more of something onto a dish. So you might add salt to a dish, or add some paprika to the chicken. To cut. To cut. Could you please cut up that beef? To cut is to use a knife to cut food, to make it into smaller pieces, usually so you can bite it or so you can mix it more easily. I cut my steak so I can eat it. You make food smaller into more bite-sized pieces by cutting. To mix. To mix. Mix all of the spices in a bowl before putting them in your dish. To mix is to combine. So you might combine or mix all of your ingredients together before cooking or doing something else with them. You might mix ingredients together to create a dish.
Breastfeed. All right, the first word is breastfeed. Breastfeed means feeding a baby using the milk from the mother. So there's like baby formula, which you can give to babies, or there's just natural milk, the mother's milk, which is breast milk, or what the verb that we use is to breastfeed a baby. So in a sentence, many mothers choose to breastfeed their children. In this sentence, you're not supposed to drink alcohol while breastfeeding. Change a diaper. The next expression is change a diaper. Change a diaper. So diapers are the pieces of cloth or like the disposable things that babies wear because babies, of course, don't have the ability to use the bathroom like a grown human or like even like children can. So babies need diapers. So to change a diaper means to take off a used diaper and put a new clean diaper on a baby. In a sentence, I had hoped that I'd never have to change a diaper in my life. Put on a bib. The next expression is to put on a bib. So a bib is like a protective cloth that goes right here. So actually at some restaurants, even for adults, like where there's a lot of oil, or even like rib restaurants, I think sometimes, they'll give you, like customers, a bib. But for babies who are very messy eaters, you can put a bib on the baby to protect the baby's clothes while they eat. So in a sentence, put on his bib and give him some mashed carrots. Change clothes. The next expression is change clothes. Again, of course, you can use this for yourself or for adults. This is not a baby-only phrase. This is not a baby-only phrase. So to change clothes, if the baby's clothes are dirty or it's just time to, I don't know, you just need to change the baby's clothes, you can say, let's see, like, let's change the baby's clothes. That's all. So in a sentence, after her accident, she had to change her clothes. That's a weird out of context sentence. Sing a lullaby. The next expression is sing a lullaby. Sing a lullaby. Lullaby is a song that is especially to help a child go to sleep. So they're usually really like quiet, soft songs. They have like a nice, like soothing sound to them. So singing a lullaby is like a classic way to calm an upset child down. So, for example, let's see. When I was little, my mother used to sing me a lullaby before going to sleep. That's true. She sang me Edelweiss from The Sound of Music. My mom used to sing me lullabies that she'd made up on the spot. If I ever become a mom, that's going to be me. Like, I'm just making up the lullaby. I'm going to be like, go to sleep. I'm really tired. I hope you go to sleep now. I think you should. The first expression is, I think you should, blah, blah, blah. I think you should is a very neutral, not so strong, not so weak way to give advice. I think you should get a different haircut. I think you should find a new job. I think you should give me all your money. Well, can't hurt. I think you should is a very typical way to give advice, or just I think is okay, or you should is okay too. In this sentence, I think you should find a new apartment. Why don't you? The second expression is why don't you, blah, blah, blah. So it uses the negative, why don't you? So that means it's a bit softer, it's a bit more of a weak way to give advice. So why don't you take a day off? Or why don't you help me with my homework? That's sort of a sneaky way to give advice and ask for help at the same time. Why don't you, I don't know, find a new hobby, for example? So these are kind of weak ways to give advice. In this sentence, why don't you get a pet? Have you thought about blah, blah, blah? So have you thought about, you're giving your advice, but this is a question for the listener. So have you thought about blah, blah, blah? You're sharing your opinion, but you're kind of making it sound like maybe it was the listener's idea, or maybe the listener has thought of this thing before. So this is also a fairly soft way to give advice. So like, have you thought about going to a different city? Have you thought about moving in with your friends? Something like that. So these are probably going to be questions that are a little bit more serious. Like, I don't feel like we would use this for really casual or really light questions, but maybe for something a little more serious and a soft way to give advice. In this sentence, have you thought about looking for a new job? I don't know if is a good idea. So this is kind of a negative way to give advice or to share your opinion. It's, I don't know if blah, blah, blah is a good idea. So you're giving someone advice not to do something. So for example, I don't know if getting a pet is a good idea, or I don't know if starting a new project is a good idea. These are different ways that you can say you don't think or you think that the other person should not do something, but this is a soft way to express it. In this sentence, I don't know if taking a year off work is a good idea. Maybe you should try. The next one is a suggestion to try something. So this is a soft but kind of encouraging expression. Maybe you should try blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should try blah, blah. So you are encouraging someone to attempt something, to try something. Maybe not forever, but just for a short period of time. So maybe you should try volleyball. Maybe you should try playing sports. Maybe you should try spicy food. Maybe you should try something. So it's encouragement to do something new. This is kind of positive, but it's a fairly soft way to give your advice. Here, maybe you should try studying a new skill.
A table for 3, please. A table for 3, please. You tell them the number of people that you are total so that the host can bring you to an appropriate table. A table for 2, please. A table for 5, please. Could I please see a menu? Could I please see a menu? Usually, menus are given to you as soon as you sit down at your table. But if that's not the case and you need to ask, this is a polite way to do it. Could I please see a menu? I'd like to try this dish. I'd like to try this dish. When looking at a menu, hopefully you'll find something you want to eat. I'd like to try this dish. Could you leave out the onions? Could you leave out the onions? If there's an ingredient in the dish that you're ordering that you don't want, you can always ask the waiter if it could be prepared without that ingredient. So for example, I might say, could I get the burger but with no cheese? Could you pass the salt? Could you pass the salt? When you're at a restaurant, especially if you're at a big table with a lot of people, you might not always be able to reach things. So you would ask, could you pass me the salt? Could you pass me the ketchup? Could you pass me another napkin?
Sing along to a favorite song. All right, so the first tip for improving your pronunciation is to sing along to a favorite song. So if you, I should add though, this favorite song should be in your target language. So if you're studying English, pick a favorite English song and sing along to that song. Or try to sing to the song just from memory too. So singing along to your favorite song can help you with pronunciation, can help you with the rhythm sometimes of the language you're trying to learn. So it can be really fun and it can be a good way to practice your pronunciation. In a sentence, I like singing along to my favorite songs. Read out loud. The next tip for your pronunciation is to read out loud. So reading out loud, you can choose something that's interesting for you in English, if English is the language you're studying. So pick something, maybe it's a news article, or maybe it's a book you're interested in. Maybe there's an author you're interested in. Find something in your target language, in English, and try reading it out loud. So don't just read in your mind, but read the words out loud. Speak them so that you can get comfortable pronouncing those words. And you can try reading the same passage or the same sentence multiple times to make it smoother. So this can be a really good tip I think it also improves your natural ability to pick up grammar too, because if you're reading something like in a book, for example, you can kind of pick up the natural rhythm of grammar, and you also slowly get a feeling for the correct ways that words should connect together. So this, I think, is a really good tip. In a sentence, I sometimes read out loud to practice pronunciation. That's true. Repeat lines you hear in TV shows. The next tip is to repeat lines you hear or the words you hear in TV shows or movies, things like that. So this means not only words. Don't only repeat single vocabulary words. Yes, maybe you find a vocabulary word that is really interesting or it sounds funny or something like that. But by repeating a full sentence or a full line in a TV show or in a movie, you're putting the words together. So not just one word, but making a whole sentence. So feeling kind of the flow of your language that you're studying. So this can be a better way to actually practice making sentences and repeating sentences instead of just words. So you can repeat after characters in TV shows. I sometimes do this when I'm like watching Japanese TV. I'm like, and then I try and spit it back out. It's hard to do sometimes when it's like the first time you've heard a word or the first time you've heard a grammar point, but you can still understand that sentence. It's interesting, so try to say it. It's kind of fun, actually, I think. In a sentence, try repeating lines from TV shows to practice. Practice speaking in phrases, not single vocabulary words. The next tip, this is very similar to my TV show tip, is to practice speaking in phrases, not in vocabulary words, not just single vocabulary words. Even if you're not repeating lines from TV shows, when you practice speaking, don't just speak in nouns. So sometimes, for example, I'll hear people just use noun, like they'll use a noun and maybe a verb, like I, tomorrow, beach, something like that. And yes, we can probably guess based on that how, like the meaning, the speaker's meaning, but you need to practice making a whole sentence. So yes, you know those words, I, tomorrow, and beach, and the listener can probably guess what you mean, but you need to practice all those little words in the middle, like I'm going to the beach tomorrow. So make a full sentence. Practice making full sentences. Don't only practice single vocabulary words. Make the whole line. It's really good. Sometimes I think my students get irritated. Like I force them to practice full sentences. Like, so I'll say like, have you ever been to Germany? And they'll say, yes. I'm like, okay, for the purposes of practice, can you make a full sentence? And they'll say, I have been to Germany. Like, that's an extreme example, but like I try to push that, you know, making the full sentence. It's silly sometimes, but just trying to do that. Okay, so in a sentence, speaking in entire phrases is helpful for practicing the rhythm of a new language. Speak a lot with your teacher and ask them to be strict with you. Onwards. Okay, so the next tip is to speak a lot with your teacher and ask them to be strict with you. So this is kind of 2 tips in one. 1, speak with your teacher. So if you have a teacher, make sure you're speaking in their class if wherever possible. Sometimes I'll have students join my class and maybe they feel shy or whatever, and they don't speak very much. But please speak with your teacher so that your teacher can correct you. Your teacher can give you, at least if they're a native speaker, or maybe even if they aren't a native speaker, your teacher can give you corrections. And if you don't speak, your teacher cannot help you in most cases. So please speak with your teacher. And if you like, you can tell them, please be strict about my pronunciation. So sometimes people will say, please help me with my pronunciation specifically. And then I can stop them every time they make a mistake, and we practice that sound. Especially TH sounds, like the th, like using your mouth a little bit differently can be really uncomfortable for some people. But if your teacher can point out those things, like TH sounds, the, this, that, these, those TH sounds, ending ER sounds. Practicing those with your teacher can be a really good way to work on your pronunciation. So in a sentence, speak a lot with your teacher. They can correct you and help you improve. Concert. The first word for talking about music is concert. Concert is a live show. Concert is, yeah, the performance is happening in front of your eyes. So concerts are really popular worldwide, I think. Depending on where you live, you might hear them called live shows, but usually in American English, we just say concert, a concert. So in a sentence, I'm going to a concert this weekend. To see in concert. The next expression is the verb we use for a live show. So the next expression is to see in a concert, or to see in concert. So we use the artist's name along with this phrase. So for example, I'm going to see Coldplay in concert. I'm going to see Adele in concert. So you use I'm going to see artist name in concert, or in a concert. What did I say? In concert or in a concert. Both are okay. So in a different sentence, I'm going to see my favorite band in concert, meaning live. Who do I want to see in concert? I want to see Michael Jackson in concert. Yeah, I would have loved to see him in concert. He's my favorite. To listen to music. To listen to artist. The next word, or the next phrase, is to listen to plus music, or to listen to an artist. So you can use this verb with the type of music or with the specific artist or band or group that you like. So I like to listen to rock music. I like to listen to pop music, whatever. Another sentence is I like listening to Beyonce. So you can use to listen to or listening to. Both are fine here. I like listening to funk. It's fine. I like listening to funky artists. It's fine. I like listening to Queens of the Stone Age. It's fine. All of these are great. Who do you listen to? I listen to lots of things. To write a song, to write music. The next expression is to write a song or to write music. So If you want to make music yourself, you can say write a song, which just means one song, maybe 3 or 4 minutes usually in popular music, or to write music in general. So you can use both of these expressions. Song is more specific, music is more general. So in a sentence, my friend started writing songs recently. Or in a different sentence, writing music is really fun. Track. The next expression is track. So we can use song, yes, but for example, when you look at an album, like on iTunes or maybe like a CD, for example, each song is assigned a number. That's the track number. So we can say, I like track number 3 or track 3. We use track to talk about a song. So you can say this is a good song or this is a good track. Both are okay to use. Song and track are both fine. So in a sentence, I really like that track from his album.
Happy. The first word is happy. As you might have guessed, happy. Happy is a happy word. When you feel good, when you feel positive, when you are excited, you can say, I'm happy. I was so happy to see my friend the other day. What makes me happy? Food. I'm happy right now. Energetic. Energetic. When you feel happy, perhaps you also feel energetic. You have that sort of like uplifting feeling. This chair is squeaking every time I move up. I don't really describe my friends or people as energetic. I might say a dog or a cat is energetic. Like, wow, your dog is so energetic. What is she doing? She's running everywhere. Is she okay? Maybe I would say about myself, I'm very energetic today if I've had a lot of coffee, like now. Lonely. The next word is lonely. Lonely. I don't want to talk about this word, it's sad. Maybe you've been spending a lot of time alone, or there's someone that you really want to see, or you want to see your family members, or maybe you're working too much, I don't know. Whatever it is, maybe you feel like you want to talk to people, or you want to see people, be around people, but you can't. You can use the word lonely to describe that feeling. I've only been working for the last few months. I haven't had a chance to spend much time with my friends. I'm feeling kind of lonely. Nervous. The next word is nervous. Nervous is used for any tension, any anxiety. Excited, but in a bad way about something. When I was a child, before my piano performances, I would get so nervous. I would be so nervous my hands would start to shake and then I couldn't play the piece I'd been practicing for months. That's why this is great, because you're not here. Forgive me! Don't be disappointed in me! Upset. Upset is a really, really useful word. Anytime you feel sad, angry, depressed, disappointed, unhappy in general, you can say, I'm upset, or he or she is upset. It's just a general unhappy word, but it doesn't mean unhappy. It just means something is wrong. There's a way a person usually behaves, but I'm upset means something's not right. In a sentence, I might say, I'm really upset about my performance last year. I was too nervous, and my parents were disappointed in me. I'm sad now. Whoa! Yeah, okay. Equation. The next math word is equation. So up until now, we've been talking about a part of an equation, but the whole math problem, everything there is called the equation. So the process that you need to do in order to solve an equation. An equation is something that you do to solve a problem. This part is the equation, this part is the solution. The ending, the result is the solution. The problem is called the equation, the process, the math process you do to find a solution. Percent. Percent, this is a very useful word you can use, of course, when doing math or math problems, but you can also use this when shopping, for example. So a sale is 5% off. 10% off. It represents a discount. You can also use percent to describe effort levels. For example, a sports team. A coach might tell his team, I need you to work at 100% today. So it's used to express the level of something, but it can also be used in sales and in math-related terms. NPC. NPC means non-playable character. There are other characters within the game that move the story forward, but that you cannot play as. You cannot become that character, but you interact with them. I have to talk to an NPC in order to move this quest forward.
Next is camper. A camper is someone who is waiting for a creature to spawn. So a person who's waiting for the monster to appear is called a camper. You can use camping as a verb too to talk about that, like I'm camping this monster. Really? People camp other players? I suppose so, depending on the kind of game you're playing. MMO is a massively multiplayer online game. It means you can play online with a lot of different people, essentially. The next word is sister. A female sibling is your sister. You can also use sister for a female person that you feel very, very close with. So I might call my female friend, I'm very close to, my sister. My brother likes to shorten it to sis. You might also hear sista as well if you are silly. Sister. Whoopi Goldberg was in a famous movie called Sister Act. The next word is brother. Brother is a male sibling. You can also use brother to refer to a close male friend. Common variations of brother are brother, bro, bra, brosy, broski. Depending on what kind of person you are, you can choose to use any number of those. Like, I might sarcastically say to my friend, cool story, bro, like if he's told me a story that's not very exciting. In Mario, for example, the name of the Mario games is actually Super Mario Brothers, but Brothers is abbreviated as BROS, Super Mario Bros. Yeah, just be careful about your use of bro, because it sounds a little bit like a college-age boy. That's kind of the feeling of the word bro. Oh, brother, where art thou? Sandcastle. The next word is sandcastles. Sandcastles are usually kids make them. They use like buckets. So kids will like put sand in a bucket, or like they move sand into piles and design castles or these really complicated mazes or something. They make buildings out of sand. We call those sand castles. So in a sentence, my brother and I used to make sand castles on the beach when we were kids. That's true. In this sentence, get the buckets and we'll make a sand castle. Cooler. So cooler is a noun in this case. Cooler is the place you keep your drinks and your food. It looks like a suitcase, but it has a special lining inside that keeps cold things cold. So you can put ice inside and it will keep your food and drinks cold while you are at the beach in the hot weather. So in a sentence, did you put a bunch of beers in the cooler? I forgot ice for the cooler. The next word is small. Small, smaller, smallest. Small and little are extremely similar. I would pretty much use them in the same way. However, we don't say when I was a small kid. We say when I was a little kid, or you can say when I was small. The next word is large. Large and big are very much the same. I will say, though, that large is used on clothing sizes. Big is not. When we talked about big, we talked about how big can be used to refer to something that's very popular. Large is not used to refer to something that's popular. Large is used for sizing, I feel, only. So like a house can be large, but it's used to refer to like the physical size of something. Large and in charge. Large, larger, largest. This is the largest hippopotamus in the zoo. I have to go. Daughter. Daughter. A daughter is a female child. I wonder if I will ever have a daughter. Brother-in-law. Brother-in-law. So we use in-law to mean our married partner's family members. Not my brother, but my partner's brother. In-law is used after any family member's position or family member's title. To show they belong to my partner's family originally, but now they're part of my extended family as well. I'm going out for drinks with my brother-in-law tomorrow night. Father-in-law. Father-in-law. So we have in-law here, meaning my partner's father. So my father-in-law is very kind. The next word is work. Be careful about using work as a noun and work as a verb. Your work refers to your job, your responsibilities, your tasks at your office or your workplace. You can use it in a phrase like, I have a lot of work to do, or please help me with my work. I like to go to work. It can be used to just refer to anything artistic in general. So it can be a painting, it can be a building, it can be a sculpture, it can be, I don't know, whatever. Anything artsy can be referred to as work, as in, I really like that new work by that artist, or did you see so-and-so's new work? Twerk.
The next word is week. Week refers to the 7-day period that we have decided is 1 week here in the modern world. Commonly used in expressions relating to your activities, as in I go to the gym once a week, or I see my friends twice a week, or I have to work every day of the week. Monday through Friday is referred to as weekdays. Saturday and Sunday, weekend. Next word is month. Month is, there are 12 months in a year. My favorite month, depending on which country I'm in, I generally like autumn months, like October. I think I usually like the month of October. September, October is good because it's not too hot, not too cold, and Halloween is coming, and that's my favorite holiday. Hannah month, Tana. Try. Oh my gosh, try is the next word. I'm trying my best. I try every day to work very hard. Have you ever tried ramen? I tried ramen yesterday and it was really good. Do you try to exercise every day? I'm trying to sleep. Go away. The next verb is leave. Leave. Leave me alone. Leave your doors unlocked. Don't leave your doors unlocked. I have never left a hot air balloon without first taking a picture. The next verb is call. Call is the next verb. Give me a call. Please call me later. Call me maybe. Call your mom on her birthday every year. She'll be happy. Call, call. If you're a seagull, have you ever called the wrong number? Have you ever called a dog by another dog's name?
Clothing. Clothing. Cloud. Cloud. Beard. Beard. Beautiful. Beautiful. Bed. Bed. Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Cut it out. The next phrase is cut it out. Now, this is usually what a parent would say to a child when they want them to stop doing something. Stop it, in other words. Cut it out. Really, it's any situation that you want to have stopped now. Let's say my friend likes to click her pen all the time, and I'm getting really annoyed. I would turn to her and say, cut it out, Michelle. I'm upset. The next phrase is, I'm upset. Upset here means not happy, angry, frustrated. I'm upset. You can say this in many different ways. The intonation is important. If you're trying to remain calm, what's wrong? Becky, I'm upset. I mean, I'm really upset, but I'm not going to show you. Or you can really just yell this, like, I'm upset with you. I'm upset. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? So you say this to someone when you feel that they're being way too proud, maybe way too selfish. They think they're number one. They've done something and you can't believe they were so bold as to do that. Like, who do you think you are, Superman? You can't run that marathon tomorrow with no training. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, the president of the universe? Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. We say this when someone is using bad language or language we think is too strong for the situation. A lot of parents will say this to their kids, or a lot of, people fighting in a relationship might say that to each other. So I'm not going to use the language here, but if I said something very strong, very rude, my mom or my friend might say, hey, watch your mouth. Be careful about what you say. You're not listening to me. The next phrase is, you're not listening to me. Pretty clear, right? Yeah. You're not listening to me. Let me say it again. I don't want to go, or something like that. You're not listening to me is used when we're getting angry because we really don't think that person is listening to us. So we say, hey, you're not listening to me. I've been saying it many times, but you're not listening to me. Let me say it again. I want a raise.
Let's stay together. Loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Al Green from Let's Stay Together. Our first amazing love quote is from Al Green from his song Let's Stay Together. Now first I'm going to say it for you, then I'm going to sing it, okay? Let's stay together. Loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Now for Al Green, it's very important that you get very, what we call groovy. You gotta get, feel the groove. And this chorus, it comes from the chorus. Let's stay together, loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Thank you, Al Green. That was beautiful, Al Green. Love it every time. Nice slow song playing on a Friday night with your girlfriend or boyfriend. So this quote, I love it because it means that Al Green or whoever is singing it to you is going to love you no matter if it's good times or bad times, if you're happy or if you're sad. And it kind of reminds me of the classic American wedding vows that we say. We say, I will love you. This is not exact, but we say, I will love you in sickness or in health, till death do we part. I like this song a lot. We should love each other in good times and bad, right? It's not true love if you're just loving in good times, right? I want you there in the bad times too. Bette Midler from Wind Beneath My Wings. Our second amazing love quote is, you are the wind beneath my wings. We first heard this from Bette Midler in her song, Wind Beneath My Wings. Now, this is a very beautiful song it comes from a movie called Beaches that was about two basically best friends. So she's singing this to her best girlfriend, and she's saying, you are the wind beneath my wings. In fact, you are the person who gives me this feeling that I can fly, and you support me so that I feel like I can fly. So you're the wind kind of beneath my wings. And this line is in the chorus, repeated many times in the song. And it goes like this. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings. Something like that. I love that movie. That movie will make you cry, by the way. Girls, get the tissues ready. Oh, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. Etta James from At Last. Okay, our third amazing love quote is Etta James. This is from her song At Last. Oh, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. Now let me talk for a minute about the phrase, the spell was cast. It's kind of like a witch that can cast a spell on you. And so if you have a spell cast on you, it's like you are under this command from someone else, and you are acting different because they made you do something. But it's like you're so in love with this person that it's like you'll do anything for them. You're under a spell, we might say. And so it's like we're in heaven together. It feels like we're in heaven. I've been waiting so long to be with you. Here we are. You are mine at last. Now, this may not surprise you, but this is a popular wedding song. Etta James sang this, I want to say back in the 1960s. I might have that wrong. But it also became popular from a Beyonce movie a few years ago where she played Etta James, and Beyonce sang this song as well. This quote is right in the middle of the song, so don't be surprised when I start very strong here. Here we go. Oh, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you are mine at last. There's a lot of quaver in the voice in that song. Actually, it does come at the end of the song. Sorry, not the middle, but beautiful song. Recommend that song, At Last. Check it out by Etta James. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Johnny Cash from I Walk the Line. Our next amazing love quote is from Johnny Cash, one of my favorites. The quote is a little difficult, I think, so listen closely. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. The tie that binds means like a tie or a connection to someone. You're bound to that person. And Johnny actually wrote this song for his first wife, Vivian, as kind of a promise to her that he would not cheat on her on the road. So by this lyric, he's saying, I keep my eye out in case anyone, I keep the ends out here, he says, which is like his eye. I keep my ends out for any potential connection. I don't want to be connected to anyone else. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Now, walking the line means like to follow a strict line or path and not go out or away from that line, to follow the rules, basically. Because you're mine, I'm following the rules. I am keeping my eye out in case I make any connections that I'm not hoping or wanting to make. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Sorry, Johnny, had to go high on that one. Johnny did not follow those rules. In fact, when he met his second wife, June Carter Cash, who turned out to be the love of his life, and on the day he met her, he said, "You're the woman I'm gonna marry someday." My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. Nina Simone from My Baby Just Cares for Me. Oh my God, I love this song. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love this song. The next amazing love quote is, I'm gonna say it's my favorite. I just love this song. It's by one of my favorite singers of all time, Nina Simone. Absolute legend. Wonderful pianist. Okay, here's the quote. My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. Now, maybe by the end there, you realize my baby is not her actual baby, like baby, no, this is her lover, her love interest. So she's saying, my baby don't care for shows. My baby doesn't care about going to plays or maybe movies. My baby don't care for clothes. My lover doesn't care about buying the latest fashion trends. My baby just cares for me. My lover just cares about me. So we don't need anything fancy. We don't have to do anything special. We just need to care and be with each other. And so it's a great quote. Also notice here the grammar is completely wrong. My baby don't. You should say my baby doesn't. But this is for a stylistic flair, if you will. So here is part of this amazing song. Here we go. My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. Oh, where is my piano backup? That song is gorgeous. Please check out the whole song. Phrase number 1, I get to check this off my bucket list. In English, we have this phrase, to kick the bucket, which means to die. So to make a bucket list is to make a list of things to do before you die. Now for me, one of mine was to go in a hot air balloon. I had tried to do it for the first time in 2009, but the morning I went, the trip was canceled. So here I am again, more than 6 years later, and I'm trying again, and this time it was successful. So I get to check it off my bucket list. I get to do this thing before I die, and I did it, English Class 101 listeners. It was so exciting. So you should make a list of things to do before you die, your own bucket list. Phrase number 2, will you marry me? So today is actually Valentine's Day. And it's very popular on Valentine's Day and anytime you're planning to propose to your special someone, to go to a special place, and I can't think of a more special place than in a hot air balloon. There's enough space, trust me, in the basket to kneel down. At least from my country, the USA, it's customary to get down on one knee. It doesn't really matter which knee, at least I've never thought so. And you get down, you kneel on one knee, and you say, "Will you marry me?" Now, unfortunately, listeners, I did not see any marriage proposals on my balloon yesterday, but I bet you today, there are over 30 balloons that go off here in Bagan, Myanmar. I bet you someone proposed. Oh, it would have been such a beautiful moment. Will you marry me? That is phrase number 2. Phrase number 3, this is a first for me. So going in a hot air balloon, as I said, I had never done it before. So it is a first for me. A first being the first time I have done something. I'm sure there are many firsts that you can think of in your life that you've had, and maybe many more firsts that you'd like to have. So this was a first for me, or this is a first for me. Phrase number 3. Maybe a first for you could be the first time that you've ever had sushi, or the first time that you've ever climbed a mountain. I mean, there are so many firsts that you can have. This is a first for me, getting in a hot air balloon. Phrase number 4. The view is incredible from up here. Now, this is something that we use in English to say whenever we've gone to the top of an observation tower, the top of a mountain, the top of a temple like I went to this morning, or really any high place that you go to take a great photo or to get an incredible view. We say, the view is incredible from up here. Phrase number 5, what a ride, champagne time. So at the end of my balloon ride yesterday, as soon as we dropped into the field below, we had a beautiful picnic basket unfurled on the field in front of us, and we got to enjoy a glass of champagne to celebrate. And when we finish something, some incredible ride, some maybe could be in the car, on a bus, it could be from a bad experience or a good, but we say, what a ride, what a ride. And when we're about to drink champagne, we say, champagne time. This expression from after riding in a hot air balloon originally came from the pilots of these balloons wanting to make sure the farmers in the fields where they landed didn't get too upset. So they would offer the farmers some champagne along with any guests they may have in their balloons. And that's where the tradition first came from. So what a ride, champagne time, phrase number 5.
How much is it to the airport? You might ask this question to find out how much it costs to take a train or a bus or a taxi to where you need to go. If you get into a taxi, for example, and you ask, how much is it to the airport? The taxi driver will tell you $30. He'll tell you the price you need to pay to get to the airport. If you're taking a train, you might ask the ticket seller, how much is it to the airport? And the ticket seller will tell you the train to the airport costs $10, for example. That way you know how much it costs to go to where you need to be. Does this bus go to? Does this bus go to? Does this bus go to the suburbs? Does this bus go to is a way of asking whether or not the bus that you're looking at has the destination that you need. So you might get on the bus and ask the bus driver, does this bus go to the suburbs, whatever destination? And the bus driver will answer and tell you, yes, get on, or no, you want a different bus. What time is the next bus? What time is the next bus? What time will the next bus arrive? By asking what time is the next bus, you're asking when the bus is going to come to the bus stop or whatever station the bus will stop at. This way you know what time you need to be at that bus stop. The train is running late. The train is running late. The train is running late again. This is something I say all the time in New York City. The train is running late. If the train is running late, that means you will probably be running late when you get off the train. Where are the ticket machines? Where are the ticket machines? Where are the ticket machines in this station? A ticket machine is a machine that you go to purchase your tickets. You might see this in any station, whether it's a subway station or a regular train station, or sometimes even a bus station. There will be kiosks that you can go to enter the information and purchase your ticket.
By watching English movies and TV shows and enjoying the feeling when you can understand a word or a sentence. Yeah, I do this too. When you enjoy something, when you find entertainment value in something like music, movies, TV, and there's that moment when you pick up or when you understand what your favorite character said, or you understand like a key point in the story, it's a really, really good feeling. It makes you want to continue watching, I think. So that's a really, really nice feeling, I think. And you can do that by enjoying media. So it's a fun way to learn, and it's a fun feeling to experience. Okay. The next way to motivate yourself is by reading English news articles, blogs, and magazines to get a feel for formal and casual language. So the style that we use here, like in English Class 101, and on the videos on this channel is quite casual most of the time, or at least in these videos it's very casual. But the way that I speak and the way a newspaper is written, the way a magazine is written, the way a newscaster presents the information, these are all different ways of communicating. We're using the same language, yes, but they are different styles. So it's important to try to understand those differences and to become familiar with them. So try to find a few different things that you can enjoy. The next way to motivate yourself is after dinner, you write about your day in a journal in English. Okay, this is an interesting idea. So just take a few minutes after dinner or before you go to bed to write something in English about what you did that day. Or maybe so you have a chance to talk about future tense, or to use the future tense, you can talk about your upcoming plans or the things you're going to do the next day. So you can talk about past tense, what you did that day, maybe present tense, how you're feeling as you're writing your journal for the day, and future tense, to talk about your upcoming plans. So journaling can be a really effective exercise for motivating you. Okay. The next way to motivate yourself is by practicing with flashcards of useful words and phrases for 15 minutes every day on the train. I actually do this. But I use an application to study Japanese, to study kanji. And 15 minutes every day adds up over the course of a week. You can learn a lot of information in a short period of time. And if you live in the country where your target language is spoken, then you might even find the word you studied on the train, you see it like after you leave the train. You might see that word later on in your day. So you can immediately feel like an extra sense of motivation by knowing that this thing you're studying is applicable, is something you can use right away. It's a really cool feeling. So this is a tip. I use this. Last, I make sure to thank anyone and everyone who corrects my English. Yeah, I think this is really important because people are really nice. They don't want to correct you when you make a mistake, but sometimes people do. They're really polite about it, and they tell you a more natural way, or they give you a suggestion for how to improve your English. Make sure you say thank you, like repeat after them and then say thank you, so that, it's motivation for them to tell you again in the future, to help you again in the future. So make sure to say thank you to anyone who helps you with your English. Personally, I think that, or I would just use I think that, personally makes it sound a little bit more polite, I think. You can use this to introduce an opinion. For example, personally, I think that pizza is amazing. Personally, I think that dinosaurs would have been delicious. Personally, I think that cars should be made to enjoy with friends. Okay, I'm gonna edit there. Personally, I think that you shouldn't worry about it. Yes, that's probably a much more useful sentence than dinosaurs would be delicious. The next expression is, what does blah 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 mean? So where here is the word you don't know. So for example, what does pasta mean? What does
Stegosaurus mean? So a word like Stegosaurus is a really strange word that you probably don't know. Stegosaurus is a type of dinosaur. We're on a very dinosaurs, I don't know, we're on a Jurassic adventure at the moment. So this is a pattern you use when you don't know the meaning of the word and you would like someone to explain it to you. So if you say, what does Stegosaurus mean? Then someone can say, oh, it's a dinosaur. It's kind of like, it's a sort of short guy and it has a bunch of spikes on its back and it has a long tail and it gets into a fight with a Tyrannosaurus Rex if you saw the movie Fantasia by Disney. Okay. So, in this sentence, what does complication mean? It means problem. Okay. The next pattern you can use is, can you tell me more about blah, blah, blah? So, on a topic that you would like more information about, you can say, can you tell me more about the soccer game last week? Can you tell me more about the plan for the party next week? So, something you would like more information about, you can say, can you tell me more about this thing? Okay, so in a sentence, can you tell me more about your sandwich options? That is a useful sentence.
Very useful.
That is a useful sentence. Okay, in this sentence here, we don't have that back home. Can you tell me more about it? This is used the reverse pattern. Okay, the next expression is, if it were up to me. If it were up to me. I had to teach this in a class a couple weeks ago, actually. If it were up to me means if I could make the decision. If this were my decision, blah, blah, blah. So meaning if I could make the choice, this is what I would do. But one point here is, the nuance is, it is not my decision. This is not my decision. But if it were my decision, I would do blah, blah, blah. So, for example, if it were up to me, every day would be Saturday. Woo, woo, woo. But it's not, right? So, that's always the underlying, that's always the kind of basic nuance of this phrase. This decision is not mine. Okay, here the example is, if it were up to me, I would take my boss to dinner. Oh my, things just got scandalous. The next pattern is, I feel like blah, blah, blah. You can use I feel like when you introduce a suggestion or something that you would like to do, especially for food, drinks, or activities. So, for example, I feel like coffee. I feel like Italian food. I feel like an action movie. There's some activity or something you would like to do at the end of this pattern. I feel like bowling this afternoon. Something needs to go here, some sort of activity. Of course, you can use this expression to talk about your feelings. I feel like something, but this something must be a noun. It must be a noun. Like if you feel really great, I feel like $1,000,000, for example. If you feel really bad, I feel like garbage. That's a nice expression that somehow just came out of my head. Anyway, you can use this in two ways, but this must be completed with a noun phrase at the end of the sentence.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Today I'm going to talk about how to pronounce the ending ED sound in past tense regular verbs. So I'm going to talk about how to make the three different sounds that we use when we're using the past tense forms of these verbs. So let's get started. Okay. So, as I said, this is for regular past tense verbs. So verbs which take an ED ending. Verbs which don't take an ED ending in the past tense, I'm not going to talk about those in this lesson. Just ED ending verbs, so past tense conjugations. Okay, so there are three different pronunciations that we use for this ED sound. I'm going to talk about each one and kind of a rule that can help you as you try to decide the best or the most correct pronunciation. Okay, let's first look at a T ending sound. So by this T, I mean a T sound at the end of the verb. So a few examples. First is walked, second talked, and typed. So walked, talked, typed. You can hear the ED sound at the end of each verb. It's spelled ED, but the pronunciation is a T sound. So walked, talked, typed. We make a T sound. So the rule for this, why do we use the T sound here? When we're looking at the infinitive form of the verb, so remember the infinitive form is like the basic form of the verb. I have it underlined in black here. If the infinitive ends in an unvoiced sound, we use this T pronunciation. So I'll talk about unvoiced in just a moment here. But in this case, the infinitive forms are walk, talk, and type. Walk, talk, and type. So the ending sounds are k, k, and p here. So these are called unvoiced sounds. So for this point and for some points in the rest of this lesson, it's useful to know the difference between a voiced sound and an unvoiced sound. So a voiced sound is a sound that we make using our vocal cords. So if you put your hand on your throat and you can feel your vocal cords moving, like activated, that's a voiced sound. An unvoiced sound, however, is a sound we make without using our vocal cords, something that doesn't require us to activate our vocal cords. So I said in this case, for the t sound, we use this sound for infinitives which end in an unvoiced sound, meaning our vocal cords are not activated. So here, as I said, walk ends in a k sound, talk ends in a k sound, and type ends in a p sound. So for k sounds and p sounds, our vocal cords are not activated. We're not using our vocal cords to make this sound. So we apply a t sound for the end of the verb when we're conjugating into past tense. So this is the first type of pronunciation for today. Okay, let's look at the second type for today. The second type is this D ending sound. And by D, I mean like a soft D sound. So a few examples. I have smelled, breathed, whispered, lied, booed, and need. So in each of these you can hear there's this soft D sound for the ending. Not an ED sound, ed, but a D sound, a soft D sound. So in this case, how do we know that we should use a D sound at the end of these? In this case, we should use this sound for infinitives which end in a voiced sound. So as we learned up here, voiced sounds are sounds that require us to activate our vocal cords. So in this case, the end of the infinitive form, here smell is the infinitive. So the ending sound, l, requires vocal cord activation. So I'm using my vocal cords to make a l sound here. Same thing with breathe, this th sound at the end, I have to use my vocal cords to make this sound. Next one, whisper. The sound here uses my vocal cords. So I'm using the d, whispered. We see the same thing. The last three examples I have here use vowel sounds at the end. So lied, booed, need. These are voiced sounds. So we need to use a d sound to end the word. So this is when we use the d ending. Okay, let's look at the last type over here. The last type is this id ending. It's like an id sound. Let's look at some examples. So here I have wanted, pleaded, and started. These are all examples of infinitives that end in a t or a d sound. So here the infinitive form of my first example, want, ends in a t sound. My second example, plead, ends in a d sound. And my third example, start, ends in a t sound as well. So for infinitives which end in a t or a d sound, a t or a d sound, we use this id ending. So wanted, pleaded, started. So these are the three types of ending ed sound pronunciations. So if you're having trouble trying to decide how to pronounce an ed sound, you can kind of think of these rules to help you, I hope. But if you want to know like which sounds are unvoiced or which sounds are voiced, if it's hard for you to determine like when you are using your vocal cords or when you're not using your vocal cords, here's a quick tip. So here are here are the unvoiced consonant sounds. So the unvoiced consonant sounds, meaning the consonants that we make without using our vocal cords, are ch, f, k, p, s, sh, t, and the th sound in think. So all of these sounds are unvoiced. If we make these sounds, we're not using our vocal cords to make them. So sh, for example, and t and th. These are common ones, but we're not actually using like our voice to make them. So that means that voiced sounds are the other sounds. So if it's not in this list, it's a voiced sound. One thing to be careful of here, though, is that the TH sound in the word like they is actually a voiced sound. So we have a voiced they TH sound, they, and we have an unvoiced TH sound, like in think. So in the word think, I'm not using my vocal cords. In the word they, or the, for example, I am. So TH has a voiced and an unvoiced pronunciation. So this is something to keep in mind and maybe to help you as you practice. But these are the 3 pronunciation types for ending ED sounds. I hope that that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comment section below this video. Of course, if you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good resources. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this episode we're going to talk about the verb follow. Let's go. So the basic definition of this verb is to move behind someone or something and to go to the same place that that person or thing is going to. Examples: I'll follow you to the park. Follow me. I know where we're going. The conjugations of this verb now. Present, follow, follows. Past, followed. Past participle, followed. Progressive, following. Now let's talk about some additional meanings of this verb. Okay, the first additional meaning is to understand, to understand. Examples: I don't follow you. Do you follow? So we can really just replace the word follow with understand here. In the first example sentence, I don't follow you, we can say, I don't understand you. It means I don't understand what you're saying, or I don't understand what you're thinking. I don't follow you. It sounds more casual, like I don't follow your train of thought. Train of thought means like the path you took to arrive at your destination, thinking-wise. Follow you just sounds more casual. It's like I can't understand, I can't follow the path of your logic, in other words. So I don't follow you. In the second sentence, it's a question. Do you follow? Meaning, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? So follow can mean understand, quite simply. Okay, let's go to the second meaning for this verb. So the second one is to happen after something else, to come after something else. Examples of this: a delicious dessert followed the roast chicken. A luxurious hot spring experience follows a massage on this one-day tour. In these example sentences, we see follow is used to describe something that happens after something else. In the first example sentence, I mentioned a dessert that followed a roast chicken. So yes, dessert is being presented first in the sentence. So I said a delicious dessert followed a roast chicken. So that means a delicious dessert came after a roast chicken. So followed, yes, followed shows the thing that came after the other thing. So we see the same thing in the second example sentence. A luxurious hot spring experience follows a relaxing massage. So yes, luxurious hot spring experience is first in the sentence. However, we're using the verb follows, so that means it comes after a massage in this case. So yes, it's presented first in the sentence, but this use of follow means come after. So that means we're presenting a sequence in this way. Let's go to the third meaning, which is to obey, to obey. So to obey something. Okay, examples of this, to obey. Did you follow the instructions on the instant ramen? She decided to follow her manager's advice. So in both of these sentences, we're meaning obey with the verb follow. So we could say, did you obey the instructions on the instant ramen? But obey sounds quite strong. We use obey for like people who are in positions of power above us. So in this case, with ramen, it's packaging. So we usually say follow the instructions on the packaging. So meaning obey the instructions on the packaging. But obey is quite a strong word. We use follow instead. In the second sentence, she followed her manager's advice is like she obeyed her manager's advice. So yes, a manager is in a position of power above you, sure. Obey is typically used when we are given like strict orders for something, like military or like something from the president, something from very high up and like very strong orders, like obey your commanding officer or something like that. In this case, it's advice, meaning that it's probably not so serious. It's like a suggestion, and it's a manager, so she has probably like a workplace relationship. So we would probably use follow someone's advice in this case. So follow means obey, but it's not quite as strong, not nearly as strong, much softer. So the fourth meaning is to be very interested in something and to watch that thing closely. Examples of this. I don't really follow sports. She's been following the news very closely. So the first example sentence is a negative. I don't really follow sports, meaning I don't really have much interest in, and therefore I don't really watch much sports. In the second example sentence, she's been following the news very closely. It means she's been very interested in and watching a lot of news lately. So this use of follow is quite convenient. It includes meanings of being interested in something and watching something carefully or closely. So to follow a topic or to follow an activity. So this means being interested in that activity and doing or seeing or reading about a lot of it. Variations. Let's look at some variations of this verb. The first variation is to follow suit. To follow suit. This means to do the same thing as the person previously mentioned in the sentence or in the situation. Examples. My manager just quit the company. I think I'm going to follow suit. Her boyfriend decided to leave the party, so she followed suit. So in both of these examples, we see one person makes a decision or takes an action, and the other person does the same thing. We show that with the expression follow suit. So in the first example, my manager quit the company. I think I'm gonna follow suit. So I think I'm going to do the same thing as the person I just mentioned. So my manager quit the company. I think I'm going to do that as well. I think I'm going to follow suit. In the second example sentence, her boyfriend decided to leave the party, so she followed suit. So he left the party, she decided to do the same thing he did, she followed suit, past tense. She did the same thing he did. So follow suit means to do the same thing as the person previously mentioned. The next variation is to follow through. To follow through. We often use to follow through on or to follow through with something. This means to keep a promise or to do something you said you were going to do. Examples. I hate it when people don't follow through with their plans. That's true. That's called flaking. Okay. Example sentence number 2. I'm going to follow through on my resolution to find a new job. Okay, so here we see a couple examples. So the first one is sort of a negative statement. I hate it when people don't follow through with their plans, meaning I hate it when people don't do the things they say they're going to do. So I hate it when people make a plan and break the plan, or make a suggestion and don't do that thing. So they don't follow through with their plans. In the second example, the speaker previously made a resolution. A resolution is a kind of goal. So the speaker previously made a resolution. The speaker has decided to follow through, meaning to try to achieve that resolution, to try to do that action. So that means that the speaker is going to find a new job. So the speaker is going to do the thing he or she promised to do. The last variation for follow today is to follow in someone's footsteps. To follow in someone's footsteps. This is kind of an easy one to imagine. So to follow in the same footsteps as someone who walked before you. However, that person who walked before you is typically a parent or maybe a grandparent or someone senior to you that you admire. Example sentences. He's following in his father's footsteps and becoming a lawyer. She decided not to follow in her mother's footsteps after all. So to follow in someone's footsteps typically refers to a career choice. So in the first example sentence, we saw lawyer. So he decided to follow in his father's footsteps, meaning he decided to do the same thing his father did as a career, become a lawyer. So meaning chose the same thing as his parent. In the second, we see a different situation. She decided not to follow in her mother's footsteps, meaning she chose a different career path from her mother, or she chose a different life path from her mother. So to follow in someone's footsteps means to do the same thing, usually the same career as their parent or their grandparent. So those are a few new ways to use the verb follow, I hope. If you have any questions, if you want to try to make a sentence, or if you know some other ways to use follow, please feel free to try it out in the comments. Great, so if you liked the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good study tools. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Good. For some I really have to sneeze.
Hi everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to today's lesson. The topic for this lesson is Top 10 Must-Know Verbs when cooking. Let's get started. To cook. To cook. I'm going to cook dinner tonight. To cook is to prepare a meal using heat. Tonight I'm going to cook chicken marsala. I'm going to cook beef stew. To fry. To fry. I don't want to fry the chicken because it's too unhealthy. To fry something is to cook something in hot fat or oil. French fries are fried. And fried things are unhealthy. So when you eat fried foods, you want to eat in moderation. I don't, because fried stuff is delicious, but you should. To add. To add. Before you eat, you should taste the food and add salt if necessary. To add in this context means to add something else onto a dish, to put more of something onto a dish. So you might add salt to a dish, or add some paprika to the chicken. To cut. To cut. Could you please cut up that beef? To cut is to use a knife to cut food, to make it into smaller pieces, usually so you can bite it, or so you can mix it more easily. I cut my steak so I can eat it. You make food smaller into more bite-sized pieces by cutting. To mix. To mix. Mix all of the spices in a bowl before putting them in your dish. To mix is to combine. So you might combine or mix all of your ingredients together before cooking or doing something else with them. You might mix ingredients together to create a dish. To season. To season. To season is to add spices to a food to make it taste better. Usually, you season every dish with salt and pepper. To mash. To mash. For great mashed potatoes, you should add garlic to the potatoes. To mash is to crush food so that it becomes almost paste-like. So mashed potatoes is a very common example of this. Also, in the UK, you might find mushy peas, which are sort of mashed. To saute. To saute. I sometimes like to saute asparagus instead of boiling it. To saute is to quickly fry something in hot fat. To put. To put. Put cold water into the mixture, or you'll get lumps in the stew. To put, in this context, means to add to something or to move into place. I put salt in the stew, and I put the dish in the oven. To slice. To slice. If you want them to cook evenly, you should slice the carrots to be the same size. To slice means to cut. I sliced the apple. I sliced the pizza. I sliced the cake. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. If you guys enjoyed this lesson, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments at all, leave them below. And don't forget to go to EnglishClass101.com to learn more English.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alicia, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. First question this week comes from Pualam. Hi Pualam. Pualam says, hi Alicia, I would like to know the differences between the verb to be and to become. For example, which one is correct? I want to be a teacher, or I want to become a teacher. Thanks. Both of these are correct, actually. So in this case, to be and become have the same meaning, but become tends to sound more formal. Like if you say, I want to become a teacher, it sounds a bit more formal than saying, I want to be a teacher. It's also easier to say, I want to be a teacher. So you can use them in the same way when you're talking about becoming something else, or when you're talking about something turning into something else. I want to be can be used in more casual expressions. Another example would be like, I want to be rich someday, or I want to become rich someday. So I want to be rich sounds more casual, it's more commonly used than I want to become rich. But they communicate the same idea. So I hope that this helps you. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's go on to your next question. Next question comes from Israel Diaz. Hi Israel. Israel says, what's the difference between used to or used to and used for? Okay, well, it kind of depends on your sentence. So used to or used to, like I said that when I read the question. So depending on the sentence, this word, or this phrase rather, can take different meanings. So used to can mean something that you did in the past, like I used to play golf, or I used to eat pancakes for breakfast every morning, or I used to go to the forest to go hiking with my family every summer. I used to do something. That refers to a past activity that's no longer true. Used to, however, talks about the purpose of something. So like, this phone is used to make calls, or like this camera is used to record video. So we use used to before a verb. So this thing is used to do that. So that's talking about the purpose of something. Then used for is similar. It's also talking about purpose, but we're following the expression with a noun instead of a verb. So like, this phone is used for phone calls. This camera is used for videos. So we're following the expression with a noun instead of a verb. So depending on the sentence, used to or used to, they're spelled the same, will be read differently and it will have different grammatical functions. Used to and used for have the same purpose, but we have to make slight changes to our grammar after that expression. So I hope that this helps you understand the differences. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Dongfang again. Hi Dongfang. Dongfang says, hi Alicia, I'm an English learner from China. What does it mean when someone says, I'm not practicing the law anymore? I heard this sentence in one of my favorite dramas called Better Call Saul. I understand the sentence, but I'm a little confused about the word practice here. Is this a common use? Yeah, this is a really nice question. Great catch. So practice is a very special verb that we use in certain jobs, certain professions. So commonly, this is doctors and lawyers that use this word. So they use the word practice before their field of expertise, and it just means do, or to be active in their practice. So in this case, in Better Call Saul, it's practicing law, or I'm not practicing law. That means I'm not actively doing like legal work right now. I'm not active as a lawyer right now. A doctor could say like, I've been practicing medicine for 6 years. That means I've been active as a doctor for 6 years. So practice here does not mean like practicing doing something. It means actively participating in that job. So again, this is very specific for a couple of different jobs, like lawyers and doctors. So very specific word. Nice catch, and thank you so much for this question. Hope that helps you. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Silverway. Hi again, Silverway. Silverway says, hi Alicia.
What does I'm blown away mean? Oh yeah, okay, I'm blown away can mean I'm surprised or like I'm shocked. So it tends to be more of like a positive expression, like I'm blown away by all the questions you guys send, or like I was blown away by how good that dinner was, or like I was blown away when I saw that my best friend had decided to get a mohawk. So it's like something is surprising or shocking or both, maybe. And you can actually use it for negative situations as well. You can also use this in past tense, like, whoa, that blew me away. That movie blew me away. So it just means shock, surprise. If something bad happens, like someone is really rude, you could say like, whoa, that person just blew me away. Or like, I was so surprised at how rude that person was. So I hope that that helps you understand the phrase to be blown away. Thanks very much for the question. All right, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Prithvi Jani. Hi, Prithvi. Prithvi says, hi, Alicia. What is the difference between lot of and plethora of? Plethora is kind of a formal and rarely used word. So a plethora of something means lots and lots of something, yes, but we tend to use it for like extravagant situations. So like, for example, the researchers discovered a plethora of treasures in the Egyptian king's tomb. We really don't use this so much in everyday speech. It sounds too formal in most cases. But again, if you're talking about something that's like really kind of big and extravagant, you might use the word plethora to describe that, a plethora of something. So I hope that this helps you understand the word plethora. Thanks very much for the question. So that's everything that I have for this week. Thanks as always for sending your questions. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. Of course, if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at englishclass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alicia, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye. Have you seen the movie The Three Amigos? Steve Martin? Yeah, do you remember?
I don't remember.
A plethora of piñatas.
Oh, I don't remember.
There's a whole scene there where they talk about a party that's coming up, and they're like, did you get the piñatas for the party? And they're like, sí. and then they're like, how many piñatas did you get? Would you say that you got a plethora of piñatas? And he's like, oh, it's a plethora. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alicia, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. First question comes from Habib Azadani. Hi Habib. Habib says, what does let alone mean? Oh yeah, nice question. Okay, let's start by introducing two examples. He can't drive a car, let alone teach someone how to drive. She doesn't have time to cook, let alone bake. Okay, so in these two examples, we see in the first part of the sentence, there's an impossible situation introduced. So he can't drive a car, and she doesn't have time to bake. So these are like impossible or really difficult situations. Then we introduce another impossible situation in the second part of the sentence. And we emphasize that that too is impossible by using let alone. So in this case, the even more impossible thing is teaching someone else to drive in the first sentence and baking in the second sentence. So we often see these kinds of patterns when we're like asking for help with something, or like we're making a request for something. For example, can Davy teach me how to drive? He can't drive a car, let alone teach someone else how to drive. Can you ask Alicia to bake me a cake? Alicia? She doesn't have time to cook, let alone bake. So you see that there's like this other impossible situation emphasized and introduced with let alone. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean like leaving someone alone, but we use let alone in front of verbs this way to show totally impossible situations. So I hope that this helps you. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question is from Naef. Hi, Naef. Naef says, hi, Alicia. What's the difference between possibly and probably? Okay, here, possibly means that something can be done. It is possible, something we are able to do. You can think of possibly as meaning like maybe. So some examples. Sorry for the last minute request, but can my friend join us at the restaurant? Possibly. Let me call the restaurant. Will you have time for a meeting later? Possibly. I have to do some paperwork. So probably, on the other hand, indicates a high level of potential of something. So possibly is very neutral. Possible is also very neutral. It's just something that we are able to do. It can be done. Probably, however, refers to like an actual chance of something and a very good chance of something. So like there's a 70% chance something is going to happen. So if we take the same example sentences, as in, can my friend join for dinner? Probably. Let me call the restaurant. And, will you have time for a meeting later? Probably. I just need to finish some paperwork. We can see that the level of certainty in the situation changes. With possibly, it's like maybe, I don't know. There's a chance, could be, I don't know. With probably, it's like there's a very good chance that that thing is okay. So I hope that this helps you understand the difference between possibly and probably. Thanks for the question. All right, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Antonio Lopez. Hi, Antonio. Antonio says, what's a tag question? Cool. Okay, tag questions are like tiny, tiny questions that come at the end of a statement. Examples. You weren't serious, were you? He's coming to the party, isn't he? We forgot our passports, didn't we? I'm late, aren't I? So at the end of each one of these sentences is this tiny little question. So it's like something that we finish our sentence with in order to confirm the first thing we said in the sentence. So you'll notice in each of these sentences, if the beginning statement is in the negative, the tag question will be in the positive, and vice versa. If the beginning statement is in the positive, the tag question will be negative. So we use tag questions just to confirm what we said in the beginning part of the sentence. I hope that this helps you. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Felipe Giacomosi. Hi, Felipe. Felipe says, what's the usage difference between to, also, and as well? Okay, for the purposes of this answer, I'll talk about just one use of the word to, which means in addition. So we see to a lot at the end of a phrase or at the end of a sentence, like in me too, or you too, or he wants to come too, or I like that too. We see that there at the end of the phrase. Let's move on then to talking about also. We use also before verbs, usually in the simple present tense or in the simple past tense. You can see also at the beginning of a sentence as well, and we use it in this position when it affects the whole sentence. So some examples. We should get some snacks. We should also get drinks. Today I'd like to talk about sales. I'd also like to talk about growth going forward. And then when you see also positioned at the beginning of the sentence, it affects the whole sentence. So for example, hey, can you pick up dinner on your way home? Also, put some gas in the car. Will you please finish this report by today? Also, stop stealing pens from my desk. So in these ways, we see also used to mean and it tends to come before verbs, or it can come before a full request. Finally, as well. As well tends to function in the same way as to. We use it a lot at the end of a phrase or like at the end of a list of items, but it sounds more formal than to. Okay, so thanks very much for the question. I hope that that helps you. All right, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Benny. Hi, Benny. Benny says, what does it mean when someone says, cut it out? And when can I use this phrase? Oh, cut it out means stop. We use this when someone is doing something that's like annoying or repetitive. So it's like if someone's poking you, or maybe if like someone keeps throwing things across the room at you. It's something small and annoying and you want them to stop doing that, you can say, cut it out. Cut it out. It's usually in that way. If you just say cut it out, it doesn't sound so like strong. So usually we make it sound like cut it out. So it sounds like you're irritated. Another way that we express the same thing is by saying don't. Don't. So especially young kids will use don't or maybe cut it out to mean stop doing that thing. Don't means like don't
do that thing. Like, don't throw things at me, or don't poke me, whatever it is, but we'll say don't. So cut it out is just a casual way to say stop. I hope that that helps you. Thanks for the question. All right, that is everything that I have for this week. Thanks, as always, for sending your questions. And remember, you can send them to me at EnglishClass101.com/ask-Alicia. Also, if you like the video, please, please, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alicia, and I will see you again next week. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alicia, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. First question comes from Silverway again. Hi again, Silverway. Silverway says, hi Alicia, could you please tell me the meaning of the word you use so much in your lessons? Nuance. Does it mean difference or something else? Oh yeah, sure. So nuance means small difference, or for like vocabulary for language learning, it means like suggested meaning. So another way to think about nuance is like it's a color. So if we imagine the color red, we can understand what red means. But inside red, there are many different types of red, right? So we can imagine a nuance is like one of those types of red. It's like one way of understanding something. So a sentence like, I'm not interested in him, or I'm not interested in her. This means like interest, yes, we see interest in that word, but the nuance of this phrase, the feeling of this phrase is like romantic interest. I'm not romantically interested in him. I'm not romantically interested in her. So that's an example of nuance. So we understand like the category, interest, but the nuance, the small difference in meaning is about like romantic like relationships in this case. So yes, nuance means small difference in meaning for this channel. It can also mean small difference in flavor, in food, for example, or like small differences in facial expressions. So another example sentence might be, we can communicate nuances through our body language and facial expressions. So nuance means small difference in meaning. I hope that that helps you. And yes, that word gets used a lot on this channel. Thanks very much for the question. Let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Agens Eland. Hi, Agens. Agens said, hi, Alicia. Can you explain the difference between seems and looks like? Yeah, sure. Let's start with looks like. There are actually two patterns for looks like. I want to talk about this A looks like B pattern first. We use this when we want to talk about something that has a similar or the same appearance as something else. A looks like B. So like that cloud looks like a rabbit. Your brother looks like a mouse. So these patterns mean that thing A or person A has a similar appearance to thing B or person B. So that's the first meaning of looks like, the first way we use it. The second way that we use looks like is to talk about guesses that we make based on visual information. So information we get with our eyes. So when we can see something and make a guess about it, we can use looks like. For example, it looks like it's gonna rain, or it looks like your dog is pretty hungry. So we can see something that gives us information about what might happen next, or we can make a guess about the situation using something we can see. Okay, so with that in mind, let's continue to seems. We use seems, yes, to make guesses, sure, just like with looks like, the second meaning of looks like, but we use seems for things that we cannot quickly check, we cannot quickly confirm. This new girlfriend seems nice. Are you okay? You seem really tired today. So you can use seems for guesses that you make based on things you can see, yes, but I think it sounds more natural to use looks like in those cases. So seems is used for stuff that we can't quickly check, but maybe we don't get that information based just on stuff we can see. So I hope that this helps you. Thanks very much for the question. All right, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Felipe Giacomosi again. Hi, Felipe. Felipe says, could you explain the pronunciation differences between the following words? 1, then and than, and 2, sure and sure.
Okay, sure. So let's start with the first pair of words, then and than. Then, than. So maybe it's a little easier to hear when speaking slowly, the differences, then, than. But actually, another good way that you can kind of discover which word is being used is to consider the way the word is used in the sentence. So it's not that native speakers are listening to each word separately. We're listening to the whole sentence. So we're not just paying attention to one sound, but we're thinking of the way the sentence is made. So you'll see than used a lot in comparative sentence structures. Examples. I like dark colors more than light colors. We should buy more drinks than snacks. She said your dessert was better than all the others. So you can see here that all of these sentences use a comparison. We're saying something is better than something else. So we know that than is being used there, but even though we're saying it really quickly and it sounds like then, we understand the correct spelling because of the grammatical structure of the sentence. Let's compare this to how then is used. I have to go to the office this morning. Then I'm going to the airport. We saw a movie, then ate dinner. He broke up with his girlfriend last week. He's seemed pretty sad since then. Okay, so you can see that these are not comparative sentences. The first two examples are like sequence examples. So one thing happened, another thing happened after that. So we use then to show that. In the last example sentence, we're using then to refer to a period of time. So you'll notice then that like the positioning of the words, the grammatical function of the words, these are different. So again, you can listen rather to the whole structure, like the way the sentence is made, instead of focusing just on those sounds, than and then. Regarding your second question about sure and sure, these have different sounds in American English, though they could have very similar sounds in British English. Again, just listen for the ways these words are used. Shore is a word that would probably be used when talking about the beach or someplace near a body of water. Sure is used to express agreement or to ask a question, like, are you sure? Sure. So think about the ways these words are used, not just their individual pronunciations. I hope that this helps you. Thanks for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Diana. Hi, Diana. Diana says, hi, Alicia. Could you explain the subjunctive mood? Oh yeah, subjunctive mood is a pretty big topic actually. To speak about it quite generally, we use subjunctive mood to talk about like unreal situations. So like wishes, possibilities, suggestions, like making demands. Also, an important point to note is that the subjunctive mood is not a tense. It's not a tense. It's rather like kind of a way of communicating unreal information. It's sort of like it follows its own grammatical rules. So let's look at a few examples in the subjunctive mood. I wish I were there to celebrate your birthday with you. If I were you, I would look for a new job. We demand he give us a refund. So in each of these example sentences, the subjunctive mood is used to communicate something that's not real. So we see a wish in the first example sentence, an unreal situation. In the second one, we're seeing like a piece of advice for an unreal situation. And the third one is a request or a demand. This is considered unreal because the demand, like the thing being requested or demanded, has not happened yet, or it may not happen. So subjunctive mood is not so commonly used actually because it is kind of difficult to use for many people. It has like its own grammatical rules, which you can see a good example of in the third example sentence here. Like, we demand he give us a refund. Like there, in most sentences, we would be required to conjugate the verb to gives, like he gives something. But when we're using the subjunctive mood, it takes on this kind of grammar. He give us a refund. So it is kind of tricky. It is a bit complex, the subjunctive. I would suggest, if you're interested in learning more about the subjunctive and how to make statements like this, start by learning a few of the common patterns. So by that I mean like the if I were or I wish I were. So those are the first two example sentences here. Those are some great patterns that you can use to start making subjunctive mood sentences. Other things can get a little bit trickier, getting into like some future perfect tense statements in the subjunctive mood, but maybe I can make a whiteboard video or two about that in the future. So I hope that this gives you kind of an introduction to the subjunctive mood. Thanks very much for the question. All right, let's move on to the next question. Next question comes from Wajahat Khan. Hi, Wajahat. Wajahat says, hi Alicia, what is the meaning of the word gee whiz and how can we use it in our everyday life situations? Sure, so gee whiz is an old-fashioned word that means wow, cool, amazing, but it's very old-fashioned. It sounds like something people said in like the 1950s in the US. We really don't use this word now. It's something we would only use if we want to sound sarcastic or if we want to make a joke. So if you use this now, you're probably going to sound sarcastic. Like, a raise? Gee whiz, thanks. Free tickets to Disneyland? Gee whiz. Like, it just sounds really silly. It sounds silly even giving these example sentences. So I wouldn't really recommend using this in everyday life these days just because it does sound old-fashioned and it sounds more like a joke. But it really means wow or amazing or cool. So I hope that that helps you. Thanks for the question. Okay, that's everything that I have for you for this week. Thanks as always for watching. Of course, if you want to send your questions to me, send them to englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. Also, if you like the video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alicia, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the difference between who and whom, two commonly confused words. So let's find out how to use them and a few hints for how you can decide which is the correct word to use in a sentence. Okay, let's begin with the word who. So we use the word who when we refer to the subject of a sentence. So let's look at a couple of examples here. In red, I have who is he, who stole my drink, and who is using my computer. So I have a few questions here. In this set of examples, who is used to refer to the subject of the sentence. So each one serves as the subject here. All right, and we can answer these questions with a simple reply. So who is he? We could say, he is my friend. Who stole my drink? We could say, she stole your drink. Who is using my computer? He is using your computer. So here again, we have he, she, and he as the answers for these questions. I'll come back to this point in just a moment. For now though, let's contrast this point with whom, when we use whom. So we use whom to refer to the object of a verb or a preposition. So let's look at a couple examples here. Whom should I speak to regarding this inquiry? Whom does this book belong to? To whom do I submit my report? So in each of these sentences, whom serves not as the subject of the sentence, but as the object of a verb or a preposition here. So again, I have a couple of example answers for this point. Here I have, for this first example, whom should I speak to regarding this inquiry? The answer could be something like, you should speak to him. For the second one, whom does this book belong to? This book belongs to her. To whom do I submit my report? We can answer with, submit your report to him. Okay, so the reason that I've included these example answers is because these can give you a really good hint for how to decide whether you should use who or whom. So I have up here this hint. The first hint really is to try substituting he or she and her or him in your original sentence. So for example, in this sentence, who is he, or who stole my drink, or who is using my computer, if I substitute he or she in one of these sentences, for example here, he is using my computer, or she is using my computer, the sentence is correct grammatically. So that means I can use who, and that's the correct choice. Again, who stole my drink? She stole my drink, or he stole my drink. The sentence is grammatically correct, so I should use who. However, down here, If I say, he should I speak to regarding this inquiry, or to he, for example, like these don't make grammatically correct statements, so we can't use he or she here. Though these questions get a little bit more complicated. These sentences, it might be a little bit difficult to decide then, am I using he or she? Should I use him or her? It's not so clear. In those cases where you're not clear, again, using the original sentence, we can take a look at the answer for the sentence. So try to make a sample answer for the question. If you can answer the question using he or she, as I've done here, he, she, and he, you should use the word who. If you can answer it with her or him, use whom. Use whom. So down here, you should speak to him. This book belongs to her. Submit your report to him. If you look at the answer for the question, or a sample answer for the question, and you use him or her in the answer, you should use whom. If you look at a sample answer and you use he or she in the answer, you should use who. So this can be a really helpful tip to decide whether you should use who or whom. If it's difficult to remember, you can kind of think about focusing in on the word him, because him ends in an M sound, just like whom ends in an M sound. So if you kind of remember in your brain, whom matches with him, sort of. So those M sounds, her and him, therefore, make a pair. So if you have trouble remembering between he and she and her and him, you can use that M rule to remember that the M sound in him fits with whom. Just one other point about use of who and whom. Typically, at least in American English, we tend to use who more often in everyday speech. Not as many native speakers are so strict about their use of whom in everyday conversation. Of course, some people are, for sure. But if you focus too much on using who and whom correctly in your speech, you might sound a little bit pretentious to some people. Again, it depends on the kind of people you're speaking with. But in general, casual conversations, most people, or I should say many people, just use who in almost every sentence. Even if whom is probably grammatically correct, we tend to rely more on who in casual speech. So you will find that native speakers technically do make mistakes with this. I'm sure I do as well. So I would say don't be too concerned about always getting the difference between these two correct, especially in speech. If, however, you're writing something formal, or if you're making a formal presentation, it might be a good idea to consider this. So just for your reference, this is a couple of, these are rather a couple of examples and a couple of ways that you can try to decide which of these words to use. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Of course, if you have any questions, please let us know in the comment section below this video. If you like the video, also please make sure to like it with the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good resources. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome back to Top Words. Today we're going to talk about 10 phrases for gossip. Let's go. Oh my God, so the first phrase is oh my God, so. So oh my God, so is an introductory phrase you can use to start your topic with a surprise factor. So you say oh my God, and then so is your transition phrase. So for example, oh my God, so I have to tell you about this movie I saw. Or, oh my God, so I saw my neighbor in the shopping mall this morning. Or, oh my God, so did you see my new dog? It's kind of a weird one. Usually it's about a person, not about a dog, but who knows? You won't believe what happened to me the other day. The next expression is, you won't believe what happened to me the other day. You won't believe what happened to me the other day. Meaning, something happened to you and you think it's going to be a surprise to the person listening to you. You won't believe what happened to me the other day. So it's a very fast phrase because it sounds like you want to share very quickly. Like, you won't believe what happened to me. You can drop the other day if you want, or you can say, you won't believe what happened to me this morning. You won't believe what happened to me last night. You won't believe what happened to me this weekend. You won't believe what happened to me over my winter vacation. So that you won't believe what happened to me gets very, very quick and short. So examples, you won't believe what happened to me the other day. I ran into my ex-boss. Or you won't believe what happened to me the other day.
I tripped and fell down a flight of stairs. Or, you won't believe what happened to me the other day. I got a new parrot. Sure, I don't know. Maybe one of you can use that. Guess what? The next phrase is very short. The next phrase is like an exclamation, so an excited statement and a question. Guess what? Guess what? So, guess what is inviting the listener to guess what happened to you. Guess what? The full question would be, guess what happened? Or guess what happened to me? But we only say, guess what? So, guess what? And sometimes the listener guesses, and sometimes the listener just says, what? Usually the listener just says, what? So meaning you should continue the story. So if you say, guess what? I quit my job. Or guess what? I saw my best friend with a new guy I haven't seen before. Another example, guess what? I got a new car. Something like that. So some kind of shocking, like difficult to guess situation. I haven't told you about this yet. The next expression is, I haven't told you about this yet. I haven't told you about this yet. So have not becomes haven't. I haven't told you about this yet. So maybe you have told other people, but this specific person, maybe you have not told that person your news or some information yet. But this yet implies you were planning to, or you want to tell them this. So it's kind of creates a little suspense. I haven't told you about this yet. So we could use this like, I haven't told you about this yet. I'm going to France next summer. Or I haven't told you about this yet, but I broke up with my boyfriend last night. Or I haven't told you about this yet, but I'm throwing a big party for my coworker this weekend. Can you come? Other examples, I haven't told you about this yet. I saw my boss out for dinner with someone who's not his wife. Oh my God, that's not true. That's not true. Or I haven't told you about this yet. I heard that the company is gonna go bankrupt. Also not true. Okay, so those are some pretty juicy gossip. That's an expression we use. We say juicy gossip is something that's like really, really interesting gossip or a really interesting story about people. We say juicy gossip for that. Have you heard about? The next expression is have you heard about blah, blah, blah. Have you heard about can be followed with a noun phrase. Have you heard about a person? You can use a person. Or have you heard about a situation? You can use both. You can use an object too. So have you heard about the new iPhone? Or have you heard about the new office policies? You can use that for pretty much anything you want to inform your listener about. So have you heard about is usually said very quickly, have you heard about? So the you becomes shortened to ya. Have you heard about? Have you heard about blah, blah, blah? So have you heard about the new secretary? Have you heard about our new boss? Or have you heard about my coworker quitting his job? Have you heard about the neighbors above us? They're moving. So you can use people here for gossip expressions, or you can use objects in this expression just to introduce something new. Very useful phrase. Have you heard about my mom? Sorry, Mom. I don't know why you came into that one. Okay. So the other day, the next expression is kind of like the beginning to a story. So maybe this can be for gossip. Maybe it can just be like a story, something interesting or maybe boring that happened to you. The expression is, so the other day, so the other day. So the other day here means not today, some other day. Which day? It doesn't really matter. It's not really important, but we say the other day, some day in the past. This expression is used for it. So we can say, so the other day I was sitting at my desk in the office when my manager came and asked if he could speak to me. Dun, dun, dun. Or, so the other day I was shopping and I ran into my ex-boyfriend. Or, so the other day I was renting a car and the former president of the United States came into the car rental shop. What? All right, so the other day, just some day in the past. So I was talking with, and
The next one you can use maybe for gossip sometimes, but also you can use for making plans. It's, so I was talking with someone and blah, blah, blah. So I was talking with someone means you were having a conversation at another time with a person and you want to kind of report information or share something from that conversation with the person listening now. So I might say, so I was talking with Risa and I think that we should plan a party for this weekend. What do you think? So I was talking with my team about this and I think that we should make some changes. So that's a very kind of everyday work situation use of this phrase. But you can also use it for gossip, like, so I was talking to my best friend and I think I'm gonna move. Or I was talking to my parents and I think it's best if we break up. Oh, so it can be for plans, it can be for gossip, it can be for just any conversation plus a report. What's up with? The next expression is kind of a little like mysterious. Then the expression is, what's up with blah, blah, blah. Usually, what's up with person for gossip, meaning there's like the nuance here is there's some problem or it seems like something's wrong with this person. They're unhappy, they're sad, they're angry, some kind of negative emotion. We use this. So it's like, what's up with Stevens? I haven't heard from him lately. What's up with your brother? He seems really upset. Or what's up with your neighbor? Why is he so noisy? Or what's up with your boss? He's so strict. So it sounds like there's some problem. We usually use this intonation. What's up with nah, to introduce somebody who has a problem. We don't say, what's up? It's not that. It's not that sort of hello expression. It's an expression for a problem. You can also use a noun phrase that is not a person here, like, what's up with this new office policy? Or what's up with this new rule at work? Or what's up with this new item on the menu at this restaurant? It's super weird. So what's up with blah, blah, blah has sort of a negative nuance. You can use it for people to talk about strange behavior. What's up with you? Have you heard from lately? The next expression is, have you heard from blah, blah, blah lately? Have you heard from person lately? Have you heard from Stevens lately? I haven't seen him. Have you heard from your mom lately? Have you heard from your dad lately? Have you heard from your brother lately? Have you heard from your landlord lately? I don't know why you hear from your landlord, but have you heard from someone lately? There is sort of a little bit of an expectation that you are in contact with the person involved in this sentence. Like you have some relationship. Maybe it's a family relationship, romantic relationship, professional relationship. There's some relationship with this person. And lately, it's like, have you heard from them recently, lately, in the last few days, in the last few weeks? So you can use this if, for example, you are looking for someone or you're worried about someone. You can use this here. You can also use it just to check in about some other person without asking that person directly. So like if I want to ask about, I'm using Risa in my example. Risa is our Japanese channel host. If I want to ask about how Risa is, but I don't want to ask Risa, I know maybe she's busy or I don't know, for some reason it's difficult to talk to her. I can ask like my coworker, I can say, hey, have you heard from Risa lately? It seems she's really busy. Or have you heard from so-and-so lately? It seems they're busy. So if I want to ask about another person, but I don't want to bother this person or that something makes it difficult, I can use have you heard from blah, blah, blah recently or lately to ask about them. Very useful phrase. I have to tell you about. Next expression. The next expression is I have to tell you about blah, blah, blah. I have to tell you. So have to becomes have to. I have to tell you about. It has a nice sound. I have to tell you about blah, blah, blah. Or I have to tell you about something. So I have to tell you about my weekend. I have to tell you about Stevens. I have to tell you about my mom. I have to tell you about my boyfriend. I have to tell you about my girlfriend. Whatever it is, some person used at the end of this sentence creates a nuance, like there's exciting news about that person. Or I have to tell you about this thing that happened. You can use a situation at the end of the sentence too, but you're using I have to at the beginning of the sentence, so that sounds like
it's really important. Like, I feel it's so important. It's my responsibility to tell you because this is so exciting. Of course, you can use this in more boring situations as well. Like, I have to tell you about the new office policy. You can use it in that way with a very flat intonation. But for gossip purposes, use, I have to tell you about blah, blah, blah. That sounds really good. So what do you have to tell somebody about? I have to tell you about this new idea I have for a business. Or I have to tell you about what happened to me last night. Okay, so there are these really exciting ways that we can introduce things that happened or that we can talk about people or whatever. Okay, so those are 10 phrases that you can use for gossip. I hope that those are useful. I hope you don't gossip too much. I don't really like to gossip that much, but sometimes it's a little bit useful. So give them a try. If you want to try them out a little bit, you can do so in the comment section below the video for sure. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel too. Check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more good stuff as well. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Top Words, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson we're going to look at the verb watch. Let's get started! So the basic definition of the verb watch is to focus the eyes on something that is moving, usually. We expect it to move. So like now you're watching this video. In a sentence, let's watch a movie later. Can I call you back? I'm watching a baseball game. So let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, watch, watches. Past, watched. Past participle, watched. Progressive, watching. Now let's talk about some additional meanings of this verb. The first additional meaning is to stay with someone or to stay with something to ensure safety, like to kind of guard that thing or to protect that thing. Examples. I have to watch my neighbor's kids for a couple hours. Can you watch my plants for a while next month? Okay, so in both of these sentences, we see the verb watch is used to mean ensure the safety of something. In the first example sentence, it's I have to watch my neighbor's kids. So we're ensuring the safety of the kids. In the second sentence, we use plants. Can you watch my plants? It doesn't mean like forever, like watch the plants grow. It means just make sure my plants are okay while I'm out of town for something similar. It doesn't mean watch my plants forever. It just means to make sure my plants are safe, like to take care of my plants while I'm out of town, for example. So also the nuance here, the feeling here is that this is just a temporary situation. So when we're watching someone's kids or like watching someone's pet while they're away, it's just a temporary situation. Okay, let's go to the second extra meaning for today. The second one. The second meaning of watch is to be careful of something, to be careful of something. Examples. Watch your language. He needs to watch his weight. So in both of these, we could replace be careful with watch. So in the first one, we could say be careful of your language. In the second one, be careful of your weight. So in other words, there's some kind of danger or you need to be careful because something about your behavior or something you've said, something you've done is maybe not a good idea. So be careful of that thing. But we say watch instead. Watch that thing instead of be careful of that thing. In addition, so we can also just use watch out as a set phrase, which means be careful in general. So if we're in a situation where we quickly want to warn someone of something, like danger, something bad might happen, we can say, watch out really quickly. So watch out doesn't mean like look or watch something. It means be careful. We always say watch out. If you have time and if you want to be specific, you can say watch out for something. Like watch out for that car or watch out for that child. Watch out for those bees. Watch out for your computer. It's gonna fall. Something like that. We always say watch out for, or just in quick situations, watch out. Just means be careful as well. All right, let's go on to the first variation. So the first variation is watch it, watch it. So watch it also means be careful, like watch out, or just the regular watch your something. But watch it is very casual and actually kind of aggressive.
So watch it implies, like, if you don't take care, I might do something bad to you. Like, so it's quite an aggressive phrase. Examples. Watch it, I'm walking. You better watch it, kid. You better watch it. Or else I'm gonna do something bad to you. I don't know. So it's aggressive. It's an aggressive phrase, and you should not use it with people who are above you. You should not use it in polite situations. I would not really recommend using this, but you might see this in TV shows, in other media. Watch it. It means be careful, but it's aggressive. Okay, let's go to the next variation. The next variation is to keep watch, to keep watch. This means like to stand guard, to guard against, like to protect something. This expression means like to guard against danger, and it often means alone. Like often you're doing it by yourself while someone else like sleeps. So examples. I'm going to keep first watch tonight. You keep watch. I'm going to get some sleep. So to keep watch means like to stay awake or to stay alert, looking for something that might be dangerous. So you can see this in movies where like people are traveling somewhere and they're camping out on the side of the road, like maybe in Lord of the Rings or something where everybody's sleeping, but one person is awake near the fire watching to see if anything dangerous happens. And then they wake up other people if something dangerous is coming. So they're sort of the guard in that case. So to keep watch in that case. Okay, let's go to the last variation. The last variation. Okay. The last variation is to watch one's back, to watch one's back. So to watch your back, let's use that. To watch your back means to be cautious about your safety, to be cautious about your safety. So to be careful about yourself, not because of some like physical object, like a bus is gonna come and get you. I don't know. No, it means like someone, an enemy might try to do something bad to you. So watch your back. Examples of this. You'd better watch your back, Stevens. One more example. Hey, watch your back. You're making enemies. So in these cases, watch your back is said rather seriously and with the meaning that you need to be careful. Someone might try to hurt you in the future. Could be physically, it could be financially, it could be like your reputation, whatever. Watch your back means be careful, like someone might try to hurt you in some way. However, be careful. This expression, watch your back, is totally different from got your back. So watch your back and got your back, totally different. Got your back is a support phrase, like I've got your back, means I'm supporting you, no problem. I will try to help you, or I'll try to support you. I'll try to keep you safe. I've got your back, no problems. Watch your back means be careful. You might be in danger. You should be careful, you have enemies. So quite different. Watch your back, got your back. All right, so I hope that you got a few new meanings for the verb watch that you can use there. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want to try to use the verb watch, please feel free to do so in the comments section of this video. Of course, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for other good study resources. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again next time. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this episode we're going to talk about the verb follow. Let's go. So the basic definition of this verb is to move behind someone or something and to go to the same place that that person or thing is going to. Examples. I'll follow you to the park. Follow me. I know where we're going. The conjugations of this verb now. Present. Follow, follows. Past, followed. Past participle, followed. Progressive, following. Now let's talk about some additional meanings of this verb. Okay, the first additional meaning is to understand, to understand. Examples. I don't follow you. Do you follow? So we can really just replace the word follow with understand here. In the first example sentence, I don't follow you, we can say, I don't understand you. It means I don't understand what you're saying, or I don't understand what you're thinking. I don't follow you. It sounds more casual, like I don't follow your train of thought. Train of thought means like the path you took to arrive at your destination, thinking-wise. Follow you just sounds more casual. It's like I can't understand, I can't follow the path of your logic, in other words. So I don't follow you. In the second sentence, it's a question. Do you follow? Meaning, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? So follow can mean understand, quite simply. Okay, let's go to the second meaning for this verb. So the second one is to happen after something else, to come after something else. Examples of this: a delicious dessert followed the roast chicken. A luxurious hot spring experience follows a massage on this one-day tour. In these example sentences, we see follow is used to describe something that happens after something else. In the first example sentence, I mentioned a dessert that followed a roast chicken. So yes, dessert is being presented first in the sentence. So I said a delicious dessert followed a roast chicken. So that means a delicious dessert came after a roast chicken. So followed, yes, followed shows the thing that came after the other thing. So we see the same thing in the second example sentence. A luxurious hot spring experience follows a relaxing massage. So yes, luxurious hot spring experience is first in the sentence. However, we're using the verb follows, so that means it comes after a massage in this case. So yes, it's presented first in the sentence, but this use of follow means come after. So that means we're presenting a sequence in this way. Let's go to the third meaning, which is to obey, to obey. So to obey something. Okay, examples of this, to obey. Did you follow the instructions on the instant ramen? She decided to follow her manager's advice. So in both of these sentences, we're meaning obey with the verb follow. So we could say, did you obey the instructions on the instant ramen? But obey sounds quite strong. We use obey for like people who are in positions of power above us. So in this case, with ramen, it's packaging. So we usually say follow the instructions on the packaging. So meaning obey the instructions on the packaging. But obey is quite a strong word. We use follow instead. In the second sentence, she followed her manager's advice. It's like she obeyed her manager's advice. So yes, a manager is in a position of power above you, sure. Obey is typically used when we are given like strict orders for something, like military or like something from the president, something from very high up and like very strong orders, like obey your commanding officer or something like that. In this case, it's advice, meaning that it's probably not so serious. It's like a suggestion, and it's a manager, so she has probably like a workplace relationship. So we would probably use follow someone's advice in this case. So follow means obey, but it's not quite as strong, not nearly as strong, much softer. So the fourth meaning is to be very interested in something and to watch that thing closely. Examples of this: I don't really follow sports. She's been following the news very closely. So the first example sentence is a negative. I don't really follow sports, meaning I don't really have much interest in, and therefore I don't really watch much sports. In the second example sentence, she's been following the news very closely. It means she's been very interested in and watching a lot of news lately. So this use of follow is quite convenient. It includes meanings of being interested in something and watching something carefully or closely. So to follow a topic or to follow an activity. So this means being interested in that activity and doing or seeing or reading about a lot of it. Variations. Let's look at some variations of this verb. The first variation is to follow suit. To follow suit. This means to do the same thing as the person previously mentioned in the sentence or in the situation. Examples. My manager just quit the company. I think I'm going to follow suit. Her boyfriend decided to leave the party, so she followed suit. So in both of these examples, we see one person makes a decision or takes an action, and the other person does the same thing. We show that with the expression follow suit. So in the first example, my manager quit the company. I think I'm gonna follow suit. So I think I'm going to do the same thing as the person I just mentioned. So my manager quit the company. I think I'm going to do that as well. I think I'm going to follow suit. In the second example sentence, her boyfriend decided to leave the party, so she followed suit. So he left the party, she decided to do the same thing he did, she followed suit, past tense. She did the same thing he did. So follow suit means to do the same thing as the person previously mentioned. The next variation is to follow through. To follow through. We often use to follow through on or to follow through with something. This means to keep a promise or to do something you said you were going to do. Examples. I hate it when people don't follow through with their plans. That's true. That's called flaking. Okay. Example sentence number 2. I'm going to follow through on my resolution to find a new job. Okay, so here we see a couple examples. So the first one is sort of a negative statement. I hate it when people don't follow through with their plans, meaning I hate it when people don't do the things they say they're going to do. So I hate it when people make a plan and break the plan, or make a suggestion and don't do that thing. So they don't follow through with their plans. In the second example, the speaker previously made a resolution. A resolution is a kind of goal. So the speaker previously made a resolution. The speaker has decided to follow through, meaning to try to achieve that resolution, to try to do that action. So that means that the speaker is going to find a new job. So the speaker is going to do the thing he or she promised to do. The last variation for follow today is to follow in someone's footsteps. To follow in someone's footsteps. This is kind of an easy one to imagine. So to follow in the same footsteps as someone who walked before you. However, that person who walked before you is typically a parent or maybe a grandparent or someone senior to you that you admire. Example sentences. He's following in his father's footsteps and becoming a lawyer. She decided not to follow in her mother's footsteps after all. So, to follow in someone's footsteps typically refers to a career choice. So, in the first example sentence, we saw lawyer. So, he decided to follow in his father's footsteps, meaning he decided to do the same thing his father did as a career, become a lawyer. So, meaning chose the same thing as his parent. In the second, we see a different situation. She decided not to follow in her mother's footsteps, meaning she chose a different career path from her mother, or she chose a different life path from her mother. So to follow in someone's footsteps means to do the same thing, usually the same career as their parent or their grandparent. So those are a few new ways to use the verb follow, I hope. If you have any questions, if you want to try to make a sentence, or if you know some other ways to use follow, please feel free to try it out in the comments. Great! So if you liked the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other good study tools. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye! Good. For some I really have to sneeze. Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson we're going to talk about the verb stop. Let's go. So the basic definition is to finish doing something, to stop. Example sentences. Stop hitting me. I need to stop laughing so much. Now let's look at the conjugations of this verb. Present, stop, stops. Past, stopped. Past participle, stopped. Progressive, stopping. Now let's talk about some additional meanings of this verb. The first meaning here is to pause during an activity. Examples. Let's stop for lunch. They're stopping at the supermarket on their way to the party. So each of these example sentences shows some pause in an activity. The first example sentence, let's stop for lunch, could mean like maybe people are working. Let's stop, meaning let's take a break, eat lunch, and come back to the activity. So let's pause, do this thing, come back later. Let's pause. Let's stop for lunch. The second example sentence, they're stopping at the supermarket on their way here, means they, the people here, are coming to some location, coming to a party maybe, and on the way, in the act of coming, they're going to stop at the supermarket. So pause the activity of coming and go to the supermarket, to get something, and then continue coming to the party or continue coming to the event. So there's some pause. We can use stop to mean pause in some other activity. The next meaning is to block something, to block something. We often use this for like a hole or a leak, or we need to keep something out of something else, like rushing liquid, like water, for example. Examples. We stopped the leaky pipe with special glue. We stopped up the hole with old fabric. So you'll see in the second sentence there, I use the preposition up to stop up something. When you're using stop to refer to fixing a hole, so meaning putting things into a hole to fix a hole, we typically use the preposition up. Stop up a hole, stop up a leak, stop up a crack, I suppose. Mostly for hole, though. So when you want to talk about blocking something else out, we can say to stop something. Like to stop the water as well means you block the water. But if you're talking about like filling a hole, like to stop something from coming in, you can use stop up the hole. So it means to block something. So we could say stop the water from coming into the river, or like stop the bugs from coming into the house by putting a screen on the door, for example. You're blocking them from coming in. The third meaning for this lesson is to cause not to move, to cause not to move. Examples. Can you stop the car? I feel sick. Stop moving. I'm trying to take your picture. So to cause not to move means to maybe seize the operation. Seize means stop, but seize means to make something come to an end. So like in the first example sentence, stop the car. It means I want the car not to move. I feel sick. So to cause something not to move is to stop that thing. The fourth meaning of this verb for this lesson is to not operate. To not operate. This is especially used for like machines. Examples. Uh-oh, my computer has stopped working. They're stopping work at the factory early today. So this means some operation is not happening. So something is not operating. It's not continuing. So in the first example, my computer has stopped working. I used the past tense, stopped. My computer has stopped working. It means like, uh-oh, it's not working. So it was working, now it's not. It stopped. It is no longer operational. In the second sentence, it's about a factory. In the second sentence, I'm using the progressive form. They're stopping work at the factory early today. So this sentence means there's a plan at the factory to stop work early today. So we use the progressive form, they're stopping work early, to refer to a determined plan, a plan that's been determined prior to the conversation. They're stopping work today. So that means operations will cease. They're not going to continue. Let's continue on to some variations now. The first variation of the verb stop is to stop by. To stop by, it means to visit for a short time. So to stop by the house, to stop by the store, to stop by the supermarket. Other examples. Stop by the house sometime and say hello. We're going to stop by the bar later. It just means to make a short visit. We'll stop by a place, or you can just say we'll stop by later. It means if the place is understood by the listener, you can drop the place. We'll stop by later. It's fine. The next variation is stop at nothing. Stop at nothing. Interesting phrase. This expression means someone is willing to do anything in order to achieve something. Willing to do anything. So we'll stop, we'll cease for no reason. We'll stop at nothing in order to achieve something. Examples. I'll stop at nothing to get a date with that movie star. He'll stop at nothing to get that boat he wants. So meaning, these people will do anything to achieve their goal. They will stop at nothing to achieve their goal. All right, so those are a few maybe new ways to use the verb stop for you. I hope you got something new out of this lesson. If you have any questions, comments, or if you'd like to try to make a sentence using the verb stop, please feel free to do so in the comments section. Of course, if you liked the video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for other good study resources. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Don't stop Believe, and there we go. We got one. We got one.
We have a total of 3 out of 12.
Woo! 3 out of 13 now, I think we're at.
Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about 10 of the hardest words to pronounce according to you guys. So we collected some information from you on Facebook. Thanks very much for sending in your ideas. And these were the top 10 most difficult words for you to pronounce. So let's get started. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely might be tough to pronounce. Absolutely means 100%. Absolutely is an agreement phrase. Are you going to that music event next week? Absolutely. Yes, 100%, definitely. Absolutely. Lute, like a lute. L-U-T-E. Begrime. Begrime apparently means dirty. I have never heard nor used this word before, but perhaps it's difficult to pronounce. Begrime. The door to my apartment was begrimed in the storm last week. Breakfast. The next word is breakfast. Breakfast is hard to pronounce, but that is the meaning of breakfast. You're breaking the fast. So a fast is a period of time without eating, and to break means well, in this case, breaking something. It doesn't refer to like crushing a thing, but stopping something. To break the fast of the night, in other words. So you're fasting during the night, you're not eating, so you wake up in the morning, you break the fast. But we don't say break fast, we say breakfast. In a sentence, this morning for breakfast, I ate a bowl of cereal with grapes, and I had a coffee too. Colleague. Colleague, yes, colleague. Many of my students struggle with this. They say colleague, or they say colleague or something, because the spelling of this word is really, really strange. There's that G-U-E at the end. Or more commonly, I feel, it's just coworker. Colleague sounds slightly more formal to me than coworker. Somebody who you work with, or somebody who you have a business relationship with in some sense. Could be a person from another company, could be somebody from your own company. Anyone who you do business dealings with is your colleague, can be your colleague. In a sentence, I'm going to a networking event with my colleagues next week. Miscellaneous. That M-I-S-C, miscellaneous. It's just the spelling, I think, maybe is confusing for this word, miscellaneous. Miscellaneous just means other stuff, or just other uncategorized stuff. I keep a lot of miscellaneous items in a drawer in my house. Maybe they don't really fit into one category, like it's not kitchen things, it's not clothing. It's just sort of a mixture of things, miscellaneous things. Negotiation. The next word is negotiation. Negotiation, yeah, there are 2 T's in this, but neither T is a hard T. They're both very soft, that sh sound, because they're followed by the I and another vowel, the she, a negotiation. Negotiation refers to a compromise between 2 people. You're trying to make a decision and you negotiate. In this case, it's the noun form, negotiation. Business negotiations continued for more than a month with this important deal. Realm. Realm, I see why this one's hard. It's that realm part, little realm. It's a weird word, isn't it? It's used to talk about just like the kind of a fantasy world is sort of the nuance of this phrase, the realm. In a sentence, let us go to the realm where the elves live and eat their bread. Unfortunately. The next word is unfortunately. 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 It just means too bad. You can use this to start bad news, for example, like unfortunately I can't come to work today because I'm sick, or unfortunately I broke my arm at the basketball game last week, or unfortunately my haircut is bad. Vocabulary. 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 Vocabulary just refers to the words in a language. My vocabulary in my second language is really, really low. I need a bigger vocabulary so that I can express myself more clearly. World. World. Ah, I see why this one's hard. World, world, hard to pronounce. That R-L-D, I think, together is tough. Plus that W at the beginning as well. It's such a short word, but you have to say so many weird things at the same time. World. Your tongue is going like this. In a sentence, I have traveled all over the world, and the best food is in my stomach. That's the end. So those were 10 hard to pronounce words. give them a try slowly at first and just kind of try to work up to saying it at a more natural speed, if you like. Thank you so much for sharing your opinions with us on Facebook. And please make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of this fun information. So thanks again for watching today, and we'll see you again next time. Bye! You don't need new shoes, you need new feet.
Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about some English tongue twisters. I'm joined again by...
Michael. Hey, everybody.
So today we're going to be talking about some things in English that are difficult to say. That might be difficult for you, and they're probably going to be difficult for us to explain. So let's get right into it. Michael, what is your first tongue twister?
My first tongue twister is, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? One more time, a little bit faster. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Excellent. And there is a traditional response to this one. You're familiar with the response? So
once you tell me, I don't know.
It's a question, right? It ends in a question. There's a question mark on your card. And the traditional response is, it would chuck all the wood that a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Ah.
Yeah. I have it on one of my cards, actually, I think, too. This was totally unplanned, I would like to point out. Yeah, here it is. It would chuck all the wood that a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So you can use this with your friends if you want.
All right, let's do it real quick. Ready?
Okay.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
It would chuck all the wood that a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Ah.
Hey. All right, there's one down. Okay. Let's see. We've talked about that one already, so I guess I'll go with another classic one that I've known since I was little. This one uses the P sound a lot. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Lots of P sounds in this one. Can you speed it up for us?
Well, I don't know if I can say it in the first place. Peter Piper picked a... Jimanamanama. Jiminiminimanamanama.
Have you not heard this one before?
I have it. Okay. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Hold on, one more time. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. For me, it helps if you snap. Okay. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack... Oh my God, I can't do it.
Maybe it's better if you don't read it.
Those are... Peter... No, I can't do it.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. That wasn't very good. I wasn't perfect.
One more time.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Three more times.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a... Oh, I can't do it. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. There we go. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of Oh, man, that's tough. The P's, man. I can't do the P's. Oh, wow.
P's can't do you either. Okay. Go to your next one. What's your next one?
Now my brain is frazzled now. Okay, I just like this one. I've actually never heard this before, but I like it because there's a lot of THs in it, and a lot of foreign people who are learning English, let me say that, a lot of non-native English speakers have trouble with TH. That's been true for a lot of my students, regardless of where they're from, what their native language is. So, the 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday.
Wow, I've never seen this one.
Yeah, me either, but I just thought it was good because remember, TH. So, the 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday. Want to give it a try?
Yeah, I'm going to try. The 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday. That's a good one. That's a really good one for TH sounds, I think. I think the consonant sounds, like the hard consonant sounds, like the P sound, or maybe even the W sound a little bit. Like, it's easy to say that quickly, but this one's really tough to say quickly, I think, and clearly. The 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne. Just doesn't come out as smoothly, maybe.
Spitting a lot, maybe that's...
Maybe so. Okay, I guess I'll go to my next one. I really have no faith that I'm going to be able to say this at all. This is like the hardest thing that I think I was able to find. I'm going to have to read it slowly. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick.
Yeah.
The sixth six... Oh.
I know, like the second word, you can't even say it. It's really hard.
One more time, all right. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. The sixth... Oh.
That was good, that was good. That was way better than I thought I was going to do.
Yeah, we'll just leave it on that one.
I
did it once.
The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. That's really hard. It's really... I don't think I can say it any faster than that.
The sixth sick sheik's sixth... Oh. Oh. I can't. I'm at a loss of words. I'm speechless. I can't. Okay, one more time.
Okay.
Ready? The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. The sixth sick. Oh, More than once is too tough.
You got it out the one time.
time
that was
is-
solid.
that's all
That
I
was
can do.
solid.
I
Good.
give up. I give up.
Good, good, good. Okay, what's your next one?
My next one is the soldier's shoulder surely hurts. Another one I've actually never heard, but I liked it because everyone knows Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. The S and the SH is confusing. And many times in English, like surely, there's no SH, but it makes that SH sound. So it's a fun one.
Yeah.
The soldier's shoulder surely hurts. The soldier's shoulder surely hurts. Want to give it a try?
The soldier's shoulder surely hurts. This is the tough part here for me anyway, is the soldier's shoulder, making that sound really clearly as that. The soldier's shoulder surely hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it sound so easy. Wow, professional.
Not really. Okay, on to the last one. This one is really short, actually. It's only 2 words, but it's tricky. It's really tricky. I can't say this fast. Irish wristwatch. Okay, Irish by itself is fine. Wristwatch is fine. But together, they're really hard to say. Irish wristwatch.
What?
I can't say it. Irish wristwatch. It's really hard.
Irish wristwatch.
Yeah.
That's very slow. Okay, Irish. Oh wow.
It's really hard.
It doesn't. It seems easier than it is. When you
Yeah.
were saying it, I thought, come on. Okay, Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Irish
Oh,
wristwatch.
well-
Irish wristwatch.
Nice.
There we go. Okay.
Irish wrist. I can't say this one. Irish wrist. I can't try it. This one's hard. This one's really hard for me. But yeah, only 2 words. It's just that combination of the sh and the r. It's just I can't. I got nothing on that one. All right. Do you have any more?
No, I think that's it.
Oh wow, that was a good one. That was really tough. That was really tough. Okay, well give them a try. Please give them a try. And if you have any tongue twisters, preferably in English, please share them with us in the comments. They're great ways to practice your pronunciation, and you can impress your friends if you can do them quickly. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Top essay. Oh, hi. Sorry, I forgot to say hi again. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Weekly Words. This week the topic is going to be SAT words, words that students who are studying for the SAT. The SAT is a kind of college preparatory test, or a test that students take usually to apply for colleges. The words are typically fairly challenging for high school students, and these are some of the words that might cause trouble for some people. So let's begin. The first word is assiduous. Assiduous is a word that means somebody who is persistent, or who is always trying to do their best to work really, really hard. You might have a coworker who is assiduous. I suppose you could also use it if you're just describing anything that's hardworking, like ants, for example. You might say ants are very assiduous creatures. They work hard, they can lift more than their own body weight. Okay. That's pretty good. Next, intuitive. Intuitive. Someone who is intuitive is someone who has a good instinct, or they're able to sense what the right thing is to do without, having to be taught what the right thing is. So let's say maybe you're going surfing for the first time, and it comes to you really, really easily after just your first couple tries. Your friends might say like, wow, you're really intuitive. You know how to do this without, having to take a lesson or anything. Great job. A good trait to be intuitive. Precocious. Precocious is another, usually a positive word. Precocious is usually used for children who are kind of strangely talented at something, even when they're very, very little. So maybe you've seen on YouTube a kid who can play the piano extremely well, even though he or she is 5 years old. We might say, he's precocious, or she's a precocious child. She can do so much, but she's so young. It's usually a very impressive thing that the kids are able to do. All right, the next one is evanescent. 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 Evanescent is another adjective, which means something that fades away rather quickly, or something that's very short-lived. Oh, to be very romantic about it, you might say, the scent of her perfume was very evanescent. You could smell it for a brief moment and then it faded away. Yeah, ooh, that was kind of nice. The next word is anecdote. An anecdote is usually some kind of a short, funny story that's a retelling of an event that happened to you. It might be a written story or a spoken story. Oh, want to hear an anecdote about my last trip to Bali? It was hilarious.
I don't know that I'd ever say that, though. It's not something you'd use so much in casual conversation. I feel like a critic might write this word about someone else's writing. The anecdotes she chooses to include in her writing are very humorous, for example. Okay, well, we've learned a few SAT words that students might have trouble with when they're studying for the tests in their high school years. I hope that you find some of these words useful and can use them in your daily life as well. Thanks for joining us this week, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome back to Weekly Words. Weekly Words. I'm Alicia, and today we're going to talk about words that make you sound smart. Oh, I'm all over this one. First word is esoteric. When something is esoteric, it's... All right, so the word esoteric refers to something that requires specialized knowledge. So in a conversation, somebody might use this word to say, sorry to be esoteric, and then they'll continue talking about some subject or some concept that requires a certain level of knowledge in the given field. Next word, superfluous. Superfluous just means extra, really. Can a person be superfluous? So superfluous, yeah, just refers to stuff that's maybe not necessary, or the extra just stuff or extra things in a given context. So maybe, you know, like, oh, I have so much superfluous stuff in my kitchen. Of course, using superfluous in such a casual way like that is very unnatural, but you could do it if you really wanted to sound smart. Acquiesce. Acquiesce means to, like you might have, can I say a line from Pirates of the Caribbean? Something like, he will not acquiesce to your request, or she will not acquiesce to your request. It just means she won't obey or listen or do as told. But it's the same exact meaning, to acquiesce, to accept something, or yeah, to go along with. Angst. Angst refers to just kind of this, like that unhappy feeling, this sort of angry or maybe melancholy, or just feeling like, you know, you're misunderstood. So a teenager, or I suppose a teenager themselves might not use this word, but the parents of the teenager might say, oh, my teenager is so filled with angst. Kitsch. Kitsch refers to, in my mind anyway, just junk, honestly. It's the little things that, you know, might crowd your house, like a snow globe or special little ornaments, or just, you know, decorative knickknacks. You might say, oh, my aunt's apartment is really kitschy. It means she has maybe like a lot of knickknacks, or the style is just kind of... All right, that is the end. So those were a few words to make you sound smart. I hope that you learned something. I certainly did, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye. All right, welcome back to Weekly Words. I'm Alicia, and this week we're going to talk about commonly mispronounced, wow. This week we're going to talk about commonly mispronounced words, words that are often pronounced incorrectly. This is funny. I enjoy mispronouncing this first word. The first word is hyperbole. Hyperbole. It's not hyperbole, though it does sound very funny to say that. Hyperbole just means to exaggerate something, or to blow something up, make it really extreme. My friend uses a lot of hyperbole when she talks about her life stories. I really don't think some of those things happened to her. Hyperbole, not hyperbole. Next, Antarctic. Not, oh, I see. Antarctic is the correct pronunciation of this word. Some people say Antarctic? Really? Oh, I guess when you're saying this word quickly, you might leave out that first C in the Antarctic. So don't say that. Don't do that. Say Antarctic. The very, very cold region. The Arctic is the north cold region on the planet Earth. The south is the Antarctic. There's sort of like almost a hiccup in the word there, Antarctic. Oh, in a sentence, I'm thinking about taking a cruise to the Antarctic. What do you think I need? A penguin suit. Etc. Not etc. Oh yeah, okay. I hear this ek thing a lot. Etc. is just used at the end of a list to imply that you mean other things. So the list is not exclusive to the things that you've listed. Other things can also be included in it. So in a sample sentence, types of fruits are apples, oranges, peaches, etc. There are others as well. So don't say etc. That's not correct. Etc. is good. The next word is jewelry. What? Not mayonnaise? The next word is jewelry. Jewelry. I think I'm probably guilty of this mispronunciation. I can't say that word.
mispronunciation, where the word kind of gets a little bit smushed together and we say jewelry instead. We miss that second E sound in there. It should be jewelry. In a sample sentence, maybe you would say, I'm shopping for some jewelry for my mother for her birthday. Jewelry. We're too lazy. Prescription, not prescription. Okay, a prescription is something that a doctor gives you. When you're sick and you require medicine, the doctor will write you a prescription. Some people might say prescription. Wow, okay. I didn't even notice, and I was doing it while I was telling you guys not to do it. That's embarrassing. Prescription. A doctor writes you a prescription, not a prescription. When you go to the doctor's office, the doctor might say, here is your prescription. End. All right. Well, we've learned that I apparently can't pronounce some words the way that they're meant to be pronounced. So please work on your pronunciation. I will work on my pronunciation too. Thank you for joining us on Weekly Words this week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Welcome back to Weekly Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to talk about words with weird silent letters. I like the title of this one. Let's get started. The first word is pterodactyl. A pterodactyl is a dinosaur. This was a flying dinosaur from the late Jurassic period. I totally knew that on my own. Pterodactyl begins with a P, but we don't say the P. It just starts with a T sound. In a sentence, you might say, the pterodactyl is my favorite dinosaur. The next word is mortgage. My students messed up this word mortgage like last week in class. Mortgage has a T in it, but we don't say the T. It sounds like mortgage, like there's no T at all. A mortgage is the payment that you make on your house every month if you've had to take a loan from a bank. In a sentence, my mortgage payments are very reasonable, I hope. The next word is aisle. Aisle is a weird word. So yes, there's an S in the word aisle, but it is not pronounced islay, it's pronounced aisle. Aisle, with an A in front, is the space between rows of seats on an airplane, for example, or the space between shelves in a supermarket. Any sort of pathway is an aisle. In a sentence, please keep your feet out of the aisle on the airplane because the cart might bump you. The next word is faux. Faux has an X at the end when it's spelled on paper, but we do not say folks. Folks? We don't say that. We say faux. Faux means fake. Faux means something that's not real. Very commonly, you'll hear this in terms of faux fur, as in, I prefer to wear faux fur because I don't believe that we should kill animals. All right, the next word is asthma. We were just talking about how I have asthma. Asthma is spelled very weirdly. There's a TH in there, but we do not say the TH. It sounds like ASMA, asthma. Asthma is a respiratory condition. You might have asthma. It's very common, where it might be difficult for you to breathe sometimes. You need to take medicine. In a sentence, I carry my inhaler everywhere because I have asthma. And that's the end of words that have weird silent letters. So be careful when you come across these in writing because they sound a little bit different than the way they're spelled. Thanks again for watching Weekly Words this week. We will be back with more fun stuff next time. Take care. Bye. I don't know how to end this. Hi, and welcome back to Weekly Words. I'm Alicia, and I don't know what I'm going to talk to you about yet, but let's start. Today's topic is words that vary by region. Creek. I say creek. You might hear the word crick. Crick. And the word creek means a small river, essentially. There's a creek in my backyard, for example. Sure. The next word is coyote. I say coyote. How do other people say this word? Coyote. Oh yeah, coyote. I don't say that. A coyote is kind of a dog-like animal. It's a wild animal, about the size of a dog, but they howl at night. We have them in Oregon, where I'm from. I definitely heard them at my house. Last night I heard the coyotes out in my pasture. Okay, the next word is route. R-O-U-T-E. Route is how I say it. You might also hear the word pronounced route. Route, R-O-U-T-E, means the way through a city or a town or some kind of path, in other words. R-O-O-T, which this word sounds like, is the system that's at the bottom of a plant that a plant uses to get nutrients, you know, with the little hairy fibers. I am so good at explaining plant biology. Oh, I know a good route to get from school to the park later. Let's take that on our bicycles. That was oddly specific. The next word is apricot, or you might hear apricot as well. It's a fruit. So you might say, hey, did you bring any apricots to the picket? Picket? To the picket. Apricots, no apricots. Picket, on the other hand, is a word that means protest. There's a freebie in there. For example, you might say, hey, I really liked those apricots you brought me the other day. They were delicious. Okay, the next word is caramel. I think I say caramel. Oh, this is making me doubt myself. There's caramel and there's caramel. They both refer to a sugary, sweet substance that's often a type of candy or often inside a type of candy. It's really, really delicious. So you might say, oh, my favorite kind of candy is caramel, or my favorite kind of candy is caramel. Just depends on where you're from. Apparently in the East Coast, they say caramel. On the West Coast, it seems we say caramel. That sounds about right to me. You can choose. End. Hooray! What was this one called? This has been words that vary by region. You can choose which region you're from, perhaps, but it's probably best for you to be consistent when you're speaking so that you don't confuse the person listening to you. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about the top 25 English verbs by frequency, so let's get into it. Be is the first English verb. Be refers to existence. I want to be an astronaut. I think you would be a great person for this job. Be yourself. Let's be friends. I could have been a writer if I wanted to be. The next verb is have. I have a dog. I have an idea. What do you have? How many do you have? How much money do you have? Do you have any friends? How have you been? Have you seen my mom? I can't find her. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. The next verb is do. Do you want some pizza? Do you have a dog? Do I want to give any dip-de-doo? Dooby-doo-be-doo, if you're Frank Sinatra. I do the things that you do better. Say what you want. Say my name, say my name. Say you love me. Do you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? The next verb is get. Get a life, get a job, get a haircut, get a better suit. Stevens. What you got? I could have gotten a pony, but I went with a lizard instead. I'm getting tired. That's not true. The next verb is make. Make a cake. Make your mother proud. Someone outside is making a strange face at me through the window at the moment. That is a true story. Make a living through legitimate means. The next verb is go. Go big or go home. I'm going to the beach. You should go to the beach. You should go to the forest. Go to a baseball game with me. Past tense of go is went. I went spelunking on my holiday. The next word is no. This is an interesting word because no is actually not commonly used in the progressive tense. No is commonly used in present tense to refer to your mental state or your emotional state. So we don't really say I am knowing, really. But we can say I know. I know the answer. What do you know about this issue? He couldn't have possibly known the location of the treasure. How many people do you know? I knew it. The next verb is take. Take a cake. Take a break. Take yourself to bed. You should take a vacation. Have you ever taken a bath? The next word is see. We'll see. I'll see you later. The next verb is come. Come is the next verb. Please come to my house. Come to a party. I'm gonna come over to your place later. The next word is think. Think. I think you're great. He thinks pizza is the best food. I'm thinking about lunch. I'm thinking about coffee. What are you thinking about? I've been thinking about something. That's a Hanson song. Have you ever thought about the meaning of life? Look. Look is the next verb. Please look at the camera. Look over there. Look over here. Look, a dog. Look at your mom. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? Look at the time. Look. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's actually a bird. Look at that. Is it me you're looking for? Hello? Next word is want. Want. What do you want? I want food. How many coffees have you ever wanted? I wanted to go to the dry cleaners this morning, but I ran out of time. That's true. The next verb is give. Give me a break. I'm going to give you a raise, Stevens. I'm giving you the axe. Fired. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off these I can't far. I have given you everything I have. Go unto Mordor, Frodo. I could have given you the world, and instead I gave you a carpet. Use is the next word. Use. Don't use a pen. I like using chocolate when I make food. Are you using me for my brain? Next is find. We could have found buried treasure last weekend. I'm finding Nemo. Find things on the internet with Google. Find English words and phrases at EnglishClass101.com. Yeah! Tell is the next verb. Tell me a story. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm told that you are an extremely good opera singer. I'm telling you to leave. Tell lies every day. Don't tell lies. The next word is ask. Ask. Please pronounce this correctly. It is not axe. Many native speakers make this pronunciation mistake, and it really bothers me. Ask. Ask me about my collection of rare donut recipes. Ask your mom about her life. Why don't you ask your boss to the party? How about you ask your coworker for some advice about this issue? I should have asked for help, but I didn't. The next verb is work. Work is work. I'm working now. Seem, to seem. The weather seems nice today. He seemed a little angry this morning. Feel is the next word. Feel. I feel happy. Feelings. How does it feel? Feel. Feel. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Try. Oh my gosh, try is the next word. I'm trying my best. I try every day to work very hard. Have you ever tried ramen? I tried ramen yesterday and it was really good. Do you try to exercise every day? I'm trying to sleep. Go away. The next verb is leave. Leave. Leave me alone. Leave your doors unlocked. Don't leave your doors unlocked. I have never left a hot air balloon without first taking a picture. The next verb is call. Call is the next verb. Give me a call. Please call me later. Call me maybe. Call your mom on her birthday every year. She'll be happy. Call, call. If you're a seagull, have you ever called the wrong number? Have you ever called a dog by another dog's name? And that's the end. That was the most fun episode I've ever done, I think. So those are 25 English verbs, some very, very common English verbs. Give them a try. We've talked about a lot of different grammar forms and a lot of different ways you can use these verbs. So please practice them. And if you like this video, please be sure to comment. Please, please, please be sure to subscribe to. We'll have a button around here somewhere, maybe many buttons. So please subscribe to us and check out more content as it becomes available. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Surfed. Look at that. Do you want to build a snowman? Leave your babies outside of the movie theater. Leave your attitude at the door. There are a lot of verbs in English. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about the top 25 English phrases. So let's get started. The first phrase is hello. Hello, of course, is used as a greeting. You can greet your friends, you can greet your coworkers, your family with this phrase just by saying hello. Hey, hi, what's up? Hello. Sup? Yo. Pretty much any time of day you can use hello. Hello. The next phrase is good morning. Good morning is used as a greeting in the morning. You can kind of feel when morning ends for you. Good morning is nice and polite. Or even just morning with your close friends or close coworkers.
The next phrase is good night. Good night is fine. We don't use this to greet other people. We use it when we're saying goodbye to other people at night. Family members, particularly mothers and fathers, to say good night to their children before they put them to bed. You can say it to your friend in a text message or in an email if you've been talking for a while. Good night. So the next word to talk about is goodbye. Use it when you say goodbye to your friends, when you leave your friends. Goodbye. Bye, of course. Take care. Have a nice day. Peace out. That's another way to say goodbye. Okay, the next phrase is I'm plus your name. Of course, this is a way to introduce yourself. You can use I'm, in my case, Alicia. I'm Alicia to introduce yourself in any situation. New friend, I'm Alicia. Okay, the next phrase is what's your name? What's your name is used to ask someone else what their name is. So, what is your name sounds a bit. Try to use what's your name. If you forget someone's name, you can say, sorry, what's your name? Or sorry, what's your name again? Next phrase is nice to meet you. Nice to meet you anytime you meet someone new. Nice to meet you is fine. Good to meet you is a little more casual. Great to meet you sounds very excited. Pleasure to meet you sounds like maybe a formal situation or a business context. Okay, the next phrase is how are you? How are you it's just a friendly way to check in with the other person. You can use it with friends, your family, your coworkers, maybe even your boss to a certain degree. How are ya? How you doing? The next phrase is I'm fine, thanks. And you? If you saw English in 3 minutes, we talked a lot about this phrase. Instead of I'm fine, thank you, and you, say I'm good, thanks. How are you? Just shorten it and make it a little bit more natural. How are you? Good. How are you? Great. How are you? Not so good. How are you? Okay. And so on. So when someone says, how are you? I usually say, I'm good. This week, I blah, blah, blah. Give some information about what you've been up to. Maybe a hobby, something that you did recently, an event, something interesting you saw, whatever. People want to make that connection with you, and it's a good chance for you to continue speaking. The next word is please. Please is a polite phrase used when you want something from someone else. You can use this as a response when someone offers you something, like in a restaurant, for example. Would you like more water? Would you like something to drink? Oh, please. The next phrase is thank you. Thank you is used to express your appreciation. You can use thank you with everybody. The next phrase is you're welcome. You're welcome. When someone says thank you, you can say you're welcome. No biggie. I use no biggie, as in no biggie is short for no big problem. The next word is yes. Yes, of course. Yes means is any positive expression. Someone asks you a question and the answer is a positive answer. You say yes, yep, yeah. Oui. No. Next, I'm guessing I know it. Yep. The next word is no. No is a negative response to something when you have to give a negative answer. So as you can probably guess, the long form of no is negative. I like to use nope. It's very, very casual. Not gonna happen. My parents would use that with me. To soften that a little bit, if you want to show a negative response to something, like let's go out for dinner tonight. What do you want to do? Like, do you want to go out? Not really. No, I don't think so, to soften it. The next word is okay, okay. This word comes from copy editors. Okay, when they had to check a manuscript, they had to label the manuscript all clear, AC, but because they were copy editors and they have a very, very sick sense of humor, they thought they would mark it OK for all clear to make a joke because O and K do not start all and clear. But it caught on among everybody in the world. Anyway, okay is used to agree with somebody else. Well, it can be used actually to express a positive or kind of a slight negative, I feel. Transitioning in your conversation, you can say, okay, now we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay. The next phrase is excuse me. Excuse me, it's used to get someone's attention in English when you don't know the other person. For example, in a store, a supermarket, maybe a stranger on the street, you need to ask directions. You can use excuse me. You can use excuse me in the supermarket. Excuse me, can you tell me where the hot sauce is? If you've done something rude in public, you can use excuse me. I personally do not do rude things in public, ever. I'm sorry is the next word we're going to talk about. I'm sorry is used to apologize. When you have made a mistake or someone you know has made a mistake and you're connected to it, or you just feel bad, you can use I'm sorry. You made a mistake at work. I'm sorry. You forgot to feed your cat. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You bump someone next to you. Oh, sorry. What time is it is the next phrase when you need to check what time it is. What time is it? When you ask someone else what time it is, maybe you say this to yourself too. Check your watch, check your phone, check a clock. Pretty straightforward phrase. There aren't really any short versions, so. That's an easy one. Where is the plus a location. So you can use this for a building or a store. We're not going to use this where is the for a place, a city name or a state name or a country name. To do that, you would need to remove the. But where is the bank? Where is the post office? You can use this to ask directions, to ask for help in your house or at work. Where is the copy machine? Where is the file I need? Where is the blah, blah, blah? Where is the bathroom is perhaps a very important question to know. The next one is, may I use the restroom? May I use the restroom is a polite and soft expression that you can use if you need to use the toilet, you need to use the washroom. When you're at someone's house for the very first time, when you're in a place that is new to you, you can ask, may I use the restroom? More casually, can I go to the bathroom? To be very polite, you can say, may I go to the bathroom? The next phrase is, I would like to order something. You can use this at a restaurant probably, or in any situation where you need to place an order. I'd like a pizza. I'd like a beer. Can I get the check, please? This will be used at a restaurant. When you've finished your meal and it's time to go, can I get the check, please? In a very, very casual situation, you can just say, check, please. That's fine. The next phrase is see you soon. See you soon is used with friends and family members, perhaps, when you expect to see them again soon after saying goodbye to them. This is used at the end of the conversation. You're going separate directions. You say, see you soon. See ya is also good, or just see you. To make it a little more formal, you can say, I'll see you again soon. Make a full sentence out of it that way. The next phrase is see you later. See you later is very similar to see you soon, but the point is with see you later is that you're probably going to meet that person again later on in the same day. The last phrase is really. Really is a very useful word because you can use it to show you are interested in a conversation with upward intonation. Really, really, tell me more. Or to show that you're not so interested in the conversation with downward intonation. Really. So there are many other words that you can use similar to really in this way, like seriously or oh, and so on. So it's a really good practice for your intonation. So those are 25 very common words and phrases in English. If you liked this video, if you like this topic, please subscribe. I'm sure there'll be a button here somewhere or a button here, wherever. But please be sure to subscribe to our channel because we're going to be doing more videos like this, and we already have more videos like this, so please be sure to check them out. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.